and today would have been his 56th birthday. Elsewhere today, TalkSport understands Arsenal won't be triggering Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause, which expires late tonight. But we're told the Gunners are planning to make a bid during this window. Former Palace man Darren Ambrose says losing Eze would be another kick in the teeth during a tough summer at Selhurst Park.
17 fit first-team players, or maybe not even that. You've got the future of Mark Gahey as well, and who knows what effect that would have. Mateta, I know he's shown interest. I think it's Atalanta showing interest in him. Adam Wharton will attract interest. Yeah. Be a huge loss. Well, another one of Ambrose's former clubs, Newcastle, are still hopeful of signing Benjamin Sesko, but we understand the Leipzig man favours a move to Man United. And TalkSport's Ben Jacobs says the two clubs have contrasting tactics in their efforts to sign the striker.
Newcastle have gone to Leipzig and essentially said, if your asking price is over 80 million euros, we're prepared to pay it. Manchester United, on the other hand, are trying to get buy-in from the player in the hope that when they go formally to Leipzig, the price will drop because it's clear the player wants Manchester United.
And Lewis Rees-Zammit has called time on his NFL dream and is returning to rugby. He's looking for a new club ahead of next season.
Yes, hello and welcome to Owen and Dyche, or Dyche and Owen, Jonny and Sean, Sean and Jonny, whatever you want to call it. Sean is, of course, the Celtic name for John, so the two Johns, maybe?
Correct, that's right.
Is it? Yeah, we're back together on the world's biggest sports station on Friday afternoon, and yes, I'm with the man with one of the most recognisable voices in the country. It is, of course, sat with me to my left here. Sean Dyche. Sean.
How you going, Jonny? Okay?
Very good, pal. They've had us back, mate.
I know, I'm surprised, but anyway, they seem to go all right. Seemed to go all right the first couple, so let's see what we can bring on tonight.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, must have, yeah.
No, it's good to have you back, mate. It's good to be back in TalkSport. Yeah, it is. And just sort of wondering how you've been doing. What have you been up to?
I've been okay, actually. I've been enjoying a bit of a break, as you know, and some of it with you, as we did yesterday. A couple of lager shandies. Left a Dolce & Gabbana shirt in a bag in an Uber, so if that gets handed in, there's a couple of £100 for someone. As of course, it's somehow they didn't see it.
The worst thing you did was you said to me, I got this bag of me, I'm going to lose it. And I was like, no, it'll be fine.
I trekked me sen, as they say in Nottingham, me sen to a new shirt, and a bit of Larry one, actually, Johnny.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't normally do the
touch of the Gary
stuff.
Birtles, he likes a Larry shirt.
Does like a Larry shirt, yeah. But I was gutted, you get away, because I thought, where's that bag? And I thought, I left it in the Uber, I can't believe it. Anyway, I did get hold of him, it hasn't turned up, obviously. But if it miraculously does turn up, though, Johnny, there is a very hefty reward involved, because it was a bit expensive. I did treat myself, as I said.
We got our good mate, Lee Galliotti, Aussie. He's checking the pubs.
Good on Aussie, yeah. Just in case, but I got a feeling I'm almost definite I left it in the blooming Uber.
I reckon.
Can't believe it.
There's an Uber driver tonight. His local family's going, right, lads,
yeah, bit of Dolce. Look at these for one. Got one on here, lads. How about that? Anyway,
there we are. Life. So massive breaking news at the moment, obviously, is the Isak bid by Newcastle, by Liverpool for the Newcastle striker. We'll talk a bit about that later on, because obviously Sean can give us some brilliant insight of what that's like and how the agents are involved and all the sort of the politics and the dynamics, because he's obviously training at the moment with his previous team. But we'll just have a little chat first about you, Sean, about, sort of, see, you've left Everton a few months now. What have you been up to? Do you sort of step away from football completely, or do you keep an eye
mean,
more or less. Well, not completely. My lad's involved, obviously, so I watched a bit of pre-season at Northampton Town, and you know how he's going. Obviously, I've got friends in football, so you know I'll ring them, check how they're going, and pre-season, all the rest of it, but not obsessively. You know, you got to remember people. I mean, I'm sure they do know, but I've been in the game since I was 16, so a little break from it doesn't do you any harm. I don't keep up with every single topic and what's going on. Obviously, the big news we're going to talk about today, of course, that's everywhere. But you know, some of the smaller stuff and the minutiae, I don't really get involved in that. Apart from, as I said, friends. Now they're going in pre-season. But no, I watched Kasabian last Sunday, they were amazing up at Hillsborough Park. I thought they were terrific as they are, and I watched Oasis with you, brilliant, incredible in fact. Absolutely brilliant. I know there's been talked about, and rightly so. I went to Royal Ascot, had a lovely invite with the League Managers Association, went down there, had a cracking day. I'm not a big gambler, but I really enjoyed the experience. You know, I've only done that a few times, so that was good. Some social stuff down the gym, looking after myself. A few too many beers when you're around. You always take me down the wrong path. And lost my shirt because of you. Definitely, you're getting the blame for that. It's been good actually. It's been good, and watching from a distance for a change and not being so involved in it is quite refreshing in a way.
Yeah. I mean, at one point my phone went mental because you were offered the Leicester job apparently.
You know what's bizarre? You were sitting with me. That was bizarre. Even the agent I use, Rob, who's a great guy. He rang me and said, "Have you done this behind my back?" I went, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm sitting in a pub with Jonny. I just had some lunch." I was like, "What is that all about?" So yeah, apparently I got interviewed twice. I mean, I'm in a pub where I met him, and I was like, "I haven't been interviewed at all." So bizarre, and then they get that mythical thing where I have to answer to it, and then that makes a story. Just I'm answering to something that isn't even true, which is even more bizarre. But that's the media that we know and love.
Well, it's the off season, I suppose. You're always looking for stories.
Yeah, true enough. No, but I wasn't involved in that situation, and I wish him well. I wish the new manager well as well.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you like? Do you keep an eye on it, or you take a complete step away, and if something comes up, it obviously comes through your agent? Is that how it kind of works for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of hanging around football clubs when the noise around the manager, let's put it that way. I don't do that.
No, you don't.
I go to local, Forest obviously, club in St Ots County and stuff like that. I go to area clubs that are in my, living area.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be hanging around football clubs if the manager doesn't get off to a good start, and that's not my bag.
No.
Watch my son play when he's playing, if he's playing, when I can. Hopefully just some time with the daughter as well. My daughter is a psychology student, she's off at the moment, and just life really. It's hard to explain, but yourself, I'm quite busy. I'm busy with the media. I'm enjoying this, or I've enjoyed the last 2 shows. Hopefully today will be good. Varying media things, doing a bit for TV and stuff, covering games, but I don't want to get I'm touching base with the media side. I do enjoy it, and I enjoy this with you, as you know, and I enjoy the TalkSport listeners and get some good feedback when I'm around London and around the country. Yeah, I bump into people, they say they enjoyed our show, so hopefully they will today if they're listening. And yeah, so just a mixture of a combination of many, many different things, but life things, things that you can't do when you're managing. People forget it is 24/7. Well, not literally, you understand. You do get the odd day off, but even a day off is not really a down day. You're still phone calls, emails, thinking, so processing what you're going to do next. So I have had some really good downtime, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm enjoying a break from it. Not that I didn't think I necessarily needed a break from it, but I am enjoying a break from it.
So you'd be like saying did you sign schoolboy forms with Forest? How old are you then? 14, 15?
Yeah, in the old days, you didn't have these long sort of programmes that they are now in clubs, with all the way that it's structured financially. You could sort of dot and dab around clubs, and you go on trial, and then at 14, if you sign for a club, you stay with that club. So I think it was about 15 actually, because there's a few different clubs. The Starlet that was Jonny, obviously, Glenn Hoddle style midfield player. Actually sort of factually true, which people wouldn't believe, but people who know me, Steve Stone, who played with me, he believes that, because he used to play with me in midfield. And then signed at about 15, and then I was off and running with Forest. And
that's what I was thinking. So basically for the last, 40 years or whatever it is, you haven't had a summer off, many summers off really, because I suppose football, it's a bit like when I've worked at Forest. Strangely, the off season sometimes is as busy as the season, because you're signing players and the media stuff you've got to do for all that.
I'd time I run well actually when I come out of jobs, because I come out of the Watford job, and that was in June, so I was out till about the October. No, probably a bit later than that, actually, going into Burnley, and then I came out of Burnley and had another break across the summer, and now I'm having a break across the summer after coming out of Everton. So who knows what comes next? It seems like I'm timing these jobs well.
Quite nicely,
falling in quite
especially
nicely.
the way the weather's been as well.
Lost summer, and then you go back to work. So we'll see.
Well, listen, if you want to ask Sean anything from out there, we'd love your listener questions today. Send us on a WhatsApp voice note to 03717 223344, and we'll play the best ones to Sean throughout the show. Very popular this was last time. People sort of calling in from all the clubs that you've managed, but also lots of Chesterfield fans. They remember you fondly. And the other one I always love, if I ever get into a taxi with you in London, invariably the driver's a Millwall fan. Whoa. And they always say, when are you coming back down then, Sean? When are you going to sort us out? They're very fond of your time there, aren't they? And you're fond of your time.
I played in a really good period. You know, really good players, and some went on to be, bigger and better. Timmy Cahill and Stephen Reid and Neil Harris, who's done a brilliant job, legend there, rightly so. But other players there, Robbie Ryan, Dave Livermore, so many players, Nevers, Stuart Nevercott, and all them guys, and Tony Warner in goal, and real band of brothers actually, and we still keep in touch. So yeah, real good link with Millwall and my time there. I mustn't forget, but the Lionesses, we've got to mention that.
Yes,
fantastic.
We are.
The reason why I mention it is because this sounds mad, like you can't enjoy it, but this was amazing. I went to watch Kasabian, and they were watching the penalties on the big screen. The reaction of the crowd was absolutely amazing. That sounds mad, but honestly, it was brilliant. So the reaction of the Kasabian crowd, well, not just the Kasabian crowd, the people at the Hillsborough Festival were going mental. So it was amazing.
Married to a very proud English woman.
Yes.
So I watched the penalties with her, and she was obviously delighted. But I think the big thing about the English women's football team is they didn't have to dig in, did they? They came back from being behind quite a few times.
I mean, it's a good quality that's sometimes underrated in teams, and especially in international sides, because it's hard to find that bond, but they seemingly did, and they've come through the tournament, not always with glory as in the style of play, but what's the difference? You've got to win.
Yeah.
We've talked about it endlessly, and I'm sure we'll talk about it similar today with varying topics that are coming up, but you've got to win, and they found a way to win, and that's an invaluable quality to have in a team.
Well, they've certainly done that. I mean, to win 2 major tournaments at the Euros on the trot is fantastic, and a huge congratulations. Wales obviously qualified, which was big for Wales to do that. Obviously, unfortunately, the results didn't go their way, but it was a bit of a statement to get there. And what it encourages the next generation, Sean.
It's growth, isn't it? It's growth, growth in the game. Yeah,
brilliant. So, you're listening to Owen and Dyche, or Dyche and Owen. I don't mind really. I'm not worried about my name's about to do on TalkSport in partnership with Toolstation, Sean. This summer, Shop Toolstation's award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range.
I've been called a tool many times, so definitely Toolstation and a tool delivering this programme. So we're working tandem, no problem there.
In store, on app, online. Next up, Toolstation. Yes, it's Jonny, Owen and Sean Dyche here. What's the time, Sean? It's just coming up to 16 minutes past 1 on a Friday afternoon. Sultry day, I'd say, out in London. Warm but cloudy.
Nice.
And we're here to talk about the big news at the moment, obviously, is Alexander Isak. Liverpool have had what is believed to be a British record offer worth more than £120 million, worth more than Sean's shirts he bought yesterday. Rejected by Newcastle for, not much though, for Alexander Isak. TalkSport understands Isak wants to join Liverpool and personal terms will not be an issue. He's been training with his former club Real Sociedad this week as he looks to force the move. And yesterday on Drive, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent took this call from Azram, a Newcastle fan.
We've arrived at the point of no return. Okay, he can't come back from this.
Oh,
I don't think.
Blimey.
Absolutely. Let me just ask you one thing. If Alex Ferguson was the manager of Newcastle United today, do you think Isak will be kicking a football again in a black and white shirt?
No.
Wait, hold on. I don't think we'll be in this situation.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. But how do you find? I mean, we were the one.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
We were with Beckham and so on and so forth.
If you're Eddie Howe, you've got to tread carefully just in case he doesn't go, and you have to bring him back in, don't you?
But no, I don't think you can. I think we've arrived at the point of no return. I think actually, you said in a previous call that why aren't.
There you go. Well, I got the perfect man here to talk about this kind of thing because I'm sure he's had it many times. Sean, it's that classic situation. A player wants to go. The club doesn't want to let him go, or they'd like to force the price up, and sort of everybody sits around waiting to see what will happen next.
Yeah, really, really tough. I mean, everyone known for years now the player power that's growing and growing, and you know, it is tough. It's a tough situation. The player's been bought in for a lot of money. He's done a fantastic job. I was checking his goals. I mean, I knew he'd scored a lot, but I think it's 54 and 86.
Wow.
I mean, you know, that's a lot.
It is.
For someone new to the Premier League. I know they spent a lot of money. I think it was around 40, something like that, to get into Newcastle Football Club. 120, let's imagine that's the current offer.
Yeah.
If that's a fact, that's a lot of money for a centre forward. And it takes a big club, which Newcastle are, to turn that kind of money down. But then you have got the player angle. You know, what's the player's angle? We don't know what inside the camp. We don't know the players' feelings about it. And it's all right saying, well, these clubs should be keeping the players. It's not easy if the player's going to down tools, but even mentally, not necessarily physically, but, you know, just mentally lose their edge. Then what happens to their value? Their value goes down. So it's very difficult now, you know, for clubs to keep these players. Then players saying, well, what about a new contract? Well, if his mindset on not a new contract and it's Liverpool Football Club, let's say, that he wants, then you know, where is the line? Where does the line come? Now, at 120 million, I was looking, roughly speaking, you got Kiki Ores, I can never say his name, but anyway, I'm sure everyone knows who I mean. I think he's a very, very good player. And if that's like 65-ish, let's say 65, 70-ish, then that could suddenly, right, this sounds mad about modern football, that could look like a steal all of a sudden. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. You know, these players are on paper. It's pre-season. Yeah. But if he gets off and running, right, you could suddenly be thinking you've got a steal at 65 million. I mean, 10 years ago, can you imagine us sitting here chatting about 65 million?
But that's
it's
where
a steal.
It's got to, for now, listen, there's going to be lots more, and I guess I've got the perfect guy to talk about this. But it's time now to head back to
Very
Goodwood.
good player, I must make that.
Absolutely. Goodwood for our next race of the afternoon. Here's TalkSport's Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly.
Yeah, welcome to Goodwood. Thankfully, it's dry today. Yesterday, we had to endure torrential rain up to 30 millimetres in half an hour at one stage, around about 2 o'clock. But it's overcast, but it is a chilly day. And we've got a bit of a sort of quirky race here. It's a 2.5 mile contest. Stalls are not required here at Goodwood because you can't where the start is. But this is going to be quite a test in the rain-softened ground, Lizzie.
Yeah, I'd be interesting to see actually what the jockeys say after this race in terms of how the ground is riding. Goodwood drains pretty quickly, so we may feel like we're going to get lucky and it won't be too much of a deluge. Giorgio is the favourite. He has won here 5 times of 15 starts.
Well, they're coming into line right in front of the grandstands here, taking a keenhole to line the stars. We're quite used to full starts in these circles when we go jump racing, but not here. Rather slowly away was Boulder's Brass, who is a reluctant starter, and he's 4 or 5 lengths detached from this 12-runner field. But it's Tashcan, an experienced campaigner, and Tom McCann, who lead them up the home straight away, and then they'll take a left-hand turn. Another one up there is Align the Stars. Taking a keen hold is King's Reign in about second spot, and towards the rear I see Vino Victrix and also Sheridan are towards the rear, but it's Tashcan who leads them with Kyle of Lochalsh on the inside. Then it is Agaggio sitting in second as the race settles down there, not surprisingly going too quickly at this stage, but Align the Stars and Tashcan are disputing proceedings at the moment. Then in third, moving up there, is Zinc White, one of two greys in the race, and now they make this left-hand turn, having gone through about 3 furlongs, and Tashcan is, Lizzie, setting quite a strong gallop in what is a 2.5 mile race.
Yeah, Christophe Soumillon on Align the Stars sitting in second, Agaggio not far away in third, King's Reign travelling nicely as well in fourth there. Agaggio got a real featherweight in this race. That'll hopefully prove to be helpful in this ground.
And Gordon Elliott's got a runner over from Ireland. He won yesterday's Galway Plate, the big race at their festival. Won it in the stewards' room, but Mordor is his representative here, and Mordor is second last, preceding Boulder's Brass, who's still occupying last position. But Tashcan and Tom McCann tracking over now to get the benefit of the running rail as they make a right-hand turn. Then in second, Align the Stars, and on the outside of that one is Agaggio. On the inside is King's Reign. Then it is Kyle of Lochalsh and Zinc White going along nicely and settling in about 6th position at the moment. Mordor just moved up a little bit, and also moving up is Bashful Boy, who's taking quite a keen hold for the apprentice jockey Amy War. So leading them, Tom Marquand, trying to make every yard a winning one, leads by a length and a half. From in second spot it is still Align the Stars. No real change, and the pace has been an even one, so all appearing to travelling well, although being restrained at the moment is Sylvester Dessous, doing the best to restrain Zinc White, who looks to want to going a bit quicker.
Yeah, Sheridan making a little bit of ground, Oxford Comma wanting to come forward. It looks like Vino Victrix is just beginning to get pushed along by Holly Doyle.
You know what, Boulder's Brass still the back marker as the pace has quickened now, and they've got about a mile to go now, and still out in front is Tom Marquand on Tashcan, a horse who likes a bit of cut in the ground, and we've got that here today. In second spot, Align the Stars. Then as they start to bunch up a little bit, still in third is Agaggio. On the inside of that one is Tyler Hurd on King's Reign, and then a little gap back to the free running Zinc White, who's appearing to be travelling well enough. Towards the rear, just getting back into it, seems to be Holly Dahl and Vino Victory starting to travel a little bit better. So all in with a chance. Mordor and Boulder's Brass are still the back markers, and Oxford Comma is towards the rear. But now with 6 furlongs to go, Tom Marquand is being challenged for the lead with Christophe Soumillon on Align the Stars. They're neck and neck, and then there's a 2-length gap back to the next two who are riding side by side, who are Agaggio and also King's Reign. They're in third and fourth, then looking to travel well. Zinc White trying to pick up, plenty in with chances here. Coming under a bit of pressure though towards the rear is Oxford Comma. Now the race is on in earnest, and Align the Stars quickens up now with about 3.5 furlongs to go, and also Tashcan. So coming down this near side looks to be Align the Stars, wants to get the better ground on this stand side. Also picking up on the far side, I can see King's Reign trying to get into it, and Agaggio is right in there. Also right up there is Bashful Boy on this near side. On the far side I can see Kyle of Lochalsh has got into the mix as well. Kyle of Lochalsh seems to have it with Bashful Boy running a big race in second. So it's Kyle of Lochalsh and Bashful Boy, and Kyle of Lochalsh with a furlong to go is striding further and further away, and has got this race in the bag as Oisin Murphy, because he's 6-7 lengths with half a furlong to go, and is coming away very quickly. Looks as if Mordor has picked up to come into second, but is a long way behind. It was a different race there, with Kyle of Lochalsh turning it into a procession and making it look fantastically easy in what should have been a bit of a slog.
Yeah, Hughie Morrison's trained this horse to perfection. We haven't actually seen this horse since his seasonal debut in April. He was fourth in this last year off this mark, and obviously has made that look very straightforward. I think we could say, Rupert, the ground has dried up a little bit since yesterday. It didn't look like it was overly heavy. They are kicking up a little bit, but fantastic performance and a lovely training performance from Hughie Morrison.
Well, Kyle of Lochalsh takes the first race at 5-1. Mordor for Gordon Gordon Elliott and Jamie Spencer runs on to be a very distant second. Next up, we've just got 4 runners in our first group race of the day, the Bonham Thoroughbred Stakes, but it still will be an intriguing contest. That's at 1:55.
Yes, thank you to Rupert and Lizzie there. I watch every race live from the Qatar Goodwood Festival and Galway Festival only on Racing TV. You can start a free 31-day trial now by heading to racingtv.com/free trial. All Racing TV members also get access to over 100 free race days and a free share in their syndicate racehorse, The Lost Stock. Start your free trial now. Sean, we were just talking about the breaking news, massive news really, of a British record bid for Isak, played for Newcastle, number 9. And I just want to say, well, we can come back to this more and more during the show. Is this just naturally sort of evolution, sort of like, the chain, in the sense of, 2 massive football clubs, right? Newcastle, huge fan bases, rich football clubs. But Elanga goes from Forest to Newcastle because they make the Champions League, and Forest don't make the Champions League. So Elanga goes, and Newcastle obviously are in the but Liverpool are the champions with a good chance of winning the Champions League. Is it just that thing of a player just wanting to go slightly higher up the evolutionary chain? Almost?
Yeah, I think it is, but I think it's a mixture of everything now. I mean, even at these superpower clubs, some clubs are even more superpowered, and their personal finance changes. Now, I know everyone can argue players get massive amounts of money, and they do generally, but they bring in massive amounts of money as well. Yeah. And sometimes individually, shirt sales and all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. But equally, they're right to earn. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of talk of players should only have a salary cap and stuff, but why? If they bring in a lot of money for these football clubs, then the salaries go up, the fees go up, and the salaries follow. Yeah. So yes, I agree there's a football component, but Newcastle are a very good club and a well-recognised club, and Eddie's done a brilliant job, and the fans and everything. But Liverpool, with the history, the depth, of course, and the power that they've shown recently, and winning the league again, and as you suggest, competitive in all the major competitions, it is hard on both levels. If you get this player who's done brilliant for Newcastle, he's made, let's just cut it off at 120 million, right? That's an 80 million-ish profit. Yeah. Scored goals, played through some of their brilliant seasons they've had since he's been there. So he's sort of done his work, and then he moves on to a club that have been not just doing brilliant, but they've done overly brilliant. They've been winning leagues and trophies and Champions League. So it's a win-win for the player, isn't it? Yeah. Now, it's got a bit messy. We all know that, and that's the downside of the modern game. But these transfers are hard to do. They're hard to come by. Players have power, and the club have power, and who's going to vie and who's going to get what. But if you look at it in a more clean way, if your chairman comes in and said, listen, he's done amazing, but he's made us 80 million quid, he's scored a load of goals, he's had a brilliant run of it, and he's going to better himself, let's just say, in theory, because I'm not remotely saying Liverpool are a bigger club than Newcastle or any of that, I'm not getting involved in that, but historically, it's a big football club, Liverpool, and they've won a lot of things. So if you're the player, going back to him, right, you're sitting there and you go, right, double bubble on my contract. I'm going to get, a very good chance to win something with Liverpool Football Club. Well, that's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult just for the player to deal with it and deal with it in the right way. I'm not suggesting it's wrong or right what he's doing. I would suggest there's a better way of doing it than staying at your old club and getting fit. Yeah. I don't think that's ideal. But that's for Eddie and Newcastle to handle and Liverpool to handle if it's them, that go further with this situation.
Brilliant, Sean. And Sean, we're going to chat more about this, and please stay with us because you were predicting the return of the number 9 many, many years ago.
I know, and I'm pleased you were there because if I came out with that in the media, they'd go, yeah, of course he was. What, Dinosaur Dyche? Yeah, he's predicting the future of football. Yeah, of course he was. But you were there.
I was there.
We'll and all the Forest legends. And all the Forest legends.
They were indeed. Stay with us.
England's already depleted bowling stocks have taken another hit. Chris Woakes will play no further part in the deciding fifth test against India. That's after injuring his shoulder whilst fielding. Our cricket editor is John Norman.
3 seamers now, and they need to take 14 wickets. And, of course, Jacob Bethel.
Meanwhile, people at the Oval today are being encouraged to wear a headband in memory of Graham Thorpe's trademark look during his England career.
It's going to be a special day for English fans, a special day for his family to be able to see how much he meant to English cricket.
Ben Stokes, of course, speaking there. Well, Thorpe tragically took his own life last year, and today would have been his 56th birthday. Elsewhere today, TalkSport understands Arsenal won't be triggering Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause, which expires late tonight. But we're told the Gunners are planning to make a bid during this window. Former Palace man Darren Ambrose says losing Eze would be another kick in the teeth during a tough summer at Selhurst Park.
The future of Mark Gahey as well, and who knows what effect that would have. Mateta, I know he's shown interest. I think it's Atalanta showing interest in him. Adam Wharton will attract interest. Be a huge loss.
And Lewis Rees-Zammit has called time on his NFL dream and is returning to rugby. He's looking for a new club ahead of next season.
Owen and Dyche and Owen here. The hot news is, of course, Isak at Newcastle. A bid has come in from Liverpool, said to be in the region of 120 million. We've also got Stephen Schumacher coming up, John. Fine manager at Bolton. We'll have a chat to Stephen shortly. But just to quickly, we've had so many messages about this. And it's, this is where you're brilliant, Sean, and Stephen could do the same. Fans always say, oh, he's a traditional number 9. What is a traditional number 9 in your
Yeah, well, we alluded to it before the break, and you know, I said to you a number of years ago, I said, I'm telling you now, it'll come back round when the old-fashioned number 9. Usually, not always, big or quick, but usually a mixture, ideally. Hold up, you know, the game's changing. With everyone playing in front of each other now and not turning teams out, not playing behind so much, you're going to need a centre forward who can be active in different ways. And Haaland's a great example of it. You know, you can put it in the box to him. You know, Man City, everyone banks in, and, you know, Phil's condenses the pitch with players to defend. And Pep's no mug, obviously. He brought in Edison, which I thought was a masterstroke because he can smash it 75 yards. So whenever he tries to impress his Man City, he's an out. It's like having a quarterback, you know, having Edison in goal. He's just flinging it all over the place, you know, when he wants to. And then you've got your big centre forward, you know, and it happens, he's quick and he keeps hitting it in that goal. So it's a nice mixture, that I can assure you.
It's why people bid 120 million pounds for them, isn't it?
For Isak's a different type. He's what I'd call it, still an old-fashioned number 9, but in a more modern way. You know, he can run, he is quick, he can run off the shoulder, but he can collect the ball and keep it and bring others in. And, you know, a more rounded number 9. You know, and I think if you think how many teams play now with one centre forward, the number 9 now has to be that player, and often it's an outlet for the side, someone who gets hold of the ball and brings the team up the pitch by getting hold of it. And ideally, if they can run as well, then that's a massive bonus. But I think Isak is a very, very, very good player. I do like Kikiores at that price as well. Well, if relative terms, you know, I like Bueno. I think he's a good player. Kuna, you know, the number 9s or whatever you're going to phrase it, they're so important now in football. You know, you show me a good team and I'll almost always show you a good centre forward in that team.
Excellent, fascinating stuff, Sean. And we'll come back to more of it. Now, okay, the EFL, can you believe it's starting again?
I know. So, yeah. It's like 2 minutes.
I know, we've got so many games featured here on TalkSport, TalkSport 2, Luton and Wimbledon. We'll have a chat about that, Sean, about Luton, where they've ended up.
Yeah, of course.
Within 2 years. Saturday, we've got Cardiff City, a team very close to my heart, versus Peterborough. They're on TalkSport 2 as well, League One. Game day is live with Adrian Durham, Mickey Gray and Sean Derry. We've got Bradford and Wickham on League One. And on Sunday, of course, it's Stockport versus Bolton on midday. That's League One, TalkSport 2. And we've got the manager of Bolton here now, Stephen Schumacher. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hi, lads. You okay?
Stephen.
Good, yeah, good, mate, good. I was just saying to Sean, you were an Everton boy. We were there as a kid, weren't you?
That's right, yeah. I came through the academy at Everton. Didn't quite make it to play in the Premier League, but yeah, that's where I came through. I'm a big Everton fan, so yeah.
All right, keep the stick low. Keep the stick low before you start. He's going to start burning me ears in a minute. Giving it to me.
So, are you looking forward to the season, Stephen? You obviously got the game on Sunday. Bolton are one of the favourites this year. Is that a bit of pressure for you, or are you just looking to enjoy that and have a good season?
I think that pressure is always there with Bolton Wanderers being in League One. It's a club, obviously, it's got recent Premier League history. It's a huge club. And that expectation is always there for us to try and get out of the division. I think they've come close over the last few years. I joined the club the end of January, beginning of February last year, and we didn't quite make the playoffs. So the objective this year is again to compete and try and put a team together that can get us out of this division.
I think with your side of it, Stephen, I know a bit about your background, but equally, you know, your growth as a manager, you know, going through Plymouth and the amazing signs and the amazing job you did down there, and going to Stoke, probably, you know, on paper you thought, right, is another big job. Stoke's a well recognised, for a long period, a Premier League club and still a big club.
Yeah.
And that testing period there, but then to come through that, I'm sure you've learnt a lot. And then you go into Bolton and another big club, you know, the old sleeping giant one, you know, because obviously worked in that area for a long time. And when I first went there, Bolton were big, you know, massive rivals of Burnley because I hadn't beaten them at the Bolton Stadium for so many years and all them usual sort of stories. And then fell on hard times, but now it's showing real growth. And, you know, I think you've got a big part to play in that this season, I think, mate. You know, from looking at your record, you know the divisions, you know the levels and the platform you've got. And equally, while I finish on a bit of a ramble, but your pre-season, it looks like you've had a fantastic pre-season. Now, we both know, even Jonny knows this, there's no exact measure of pre-season. We could talk all day about having good ones and bad ones, but I know I'd prefer to have a good one. I'd prefer a team that looked fit and well and playing well and confident, and that's certainly on paper anyway, what your team looks like so far this pre-season, Steve.
Yeah, I think, to go to your first point about Argyle and Stoke, I think coming through and getting an opportunity to be a manager at Argyle was brilliant. I had nearly 3 seasons there as the manager and really enjoyed it. Managed to get a promotion out of League One into the Championship, and then I felt that Stoke was a good move for me to test myself at that next level with a team, again with expectation, a huge budget in the Championship and a team who were underachieving and have done for a few years. I felt I was ready for that test. Didn't quite work out, and I when I was offered the job at Bolton Wanderers, I jumped at it because again it's a huge club. A club, if it gets out of the League One into the Championship, has a similar resource and a similar fan base and a similar size. A club as Stoke City, that if we can get it out of our League One and get some investment, what I will say, I've got brilliant owners here at the club who are fully supportive of the managers, and hopefully we can kick on. But the hardest part is doing the first bit, taking the first step. So that's what we have to try and do. As you said, the pre-season so far has been good. We feel as though we've recruited quite well. We've brought in players that's going to allow us to implement a different system than we played last year. And yet the results so far have been pleasing. But as you said, it means nothing. It all counts on Sunday. We get into Stockport against a really good team who finished well in the playoffs.
Really well over the last few years, haven't they?
Yeah. So we know we're in for a tough test in a local rivalry game. So couldn't get much more exciting.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like Sean just said, historically, not just recently, but such a famous club, Bolton, with the famous fan base.
Yeah.
You know, it is a club with sort of certain expectations.
When they went into the new ground and everything, remember there was a lot of noise about that back then. Still a fine ground. You know, I went up there a couple of seasons ago. My lad was up there, and and it's still got the basis to work from. And I think Stephen's right. It's got a real solid foundation now to move forward again, and I hope they get it right this season.
I was going to just say do quickly both, because you can both answer this. The thing with League One, and I experienced it when I was working on the board at Forest and the Championship as well, it's a grind, isn't it? There's so many games. That's what hits you. It's like there's a game midweek, game of the weekend, and it's kind of relentless, Stephen, isn't it? The matches,
they're all
the
important.
fixtures.
They're all important as well, because Stephen will know this, but when you are a club like Bolton, that people, it's a big ground still, for a lot of them teams to go to. So it's like a bigger event.
Yes.
So your players have to get used to that. Now, I know if you can get it rolling at home, it becomes really powerful in a good way.
Yeah.
But equally, it's like a scalp still, Bolton. So players will go there from other teams. So every game is important. Every game. You can't relax for a minute in any division of football, but certainly not one. The Championship is just the same, very similar anyway. Every game is important and every game counts. And getting your players to understand that every minute of every game counts and every detail counts over a season is the challenge.
Yeah, is that right, Stephen? Is it very intense?
Yeah, it is, and that probably highlights the importance of having a competitive squad. You have to have people that can play, a couple of people for each position, because it is intense. You're playing over 50 games a season, and every game, no matter the level of the opponent, wherever they are in the division, everyone can beat everyone. There's so many upsets. Last year we had Birmingham City, who were the standout candidate, really. They had the best players in the division, but following down from that, everyone kind of beats everyone. So it's why you've got to be at it, as Sean said, every week. Stress to the players all the time, and you're right as well, Sean, about teams coming to play us and especially our home and coming to our stadium. It is a scalp, but that's the level of expectation that we've got to learn to deal with and handle, and do whatever we can to get the results that we need to get a promotion this year.
Stephen, thanks for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it, and good luck with everything, mate, this season.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, lads. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, mate. Stephen Schumacher there, the manager of Bolton. Right, just quickly, just before we play that first voice note for you, Sean, just had a brilliant message come in. Tell Dyche we found his Blackburn tops in a taxi.
I love that one. Good old Blackburn, massive, eh? Good job by records, unbeaten against them, and beat them away for the first time in 34 years. I don't like to mention it, but they know the script. The Blackburn massive know the script.
And thanks anyway. Can you please ask Sean to say, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's hear this voice note then.
Hi Sean, it's Emma the Spurs fan here. We know you're into your music, so just wondering who your 3 dream festival headliners would be.
Oh, good question.
It's a fair one. Well, I've got to go because I know him well, and he's a class a friend, and that's Kasabian, obviously. I did see him at Glastonbury in the Woodses stage, I think it was, and they were unbelievable. The best I've ever seen them.
Yeah.
So them Foo Fighters, I think, are amazing live.
Yeah.
And currently, how can you miss out on Oasis? Now I know. If I would have answered this before the news, it would have been better. Before the fact that they've rebanded and doing them gigs, but they're amazing. I thought
it was almost like a religious experience.
Yeah, I was amazed because I know a bit about the bands as well, and they tell me it takes a few gigs to get them to play tight, and I thought they played so tight, and it was the first gig. Liam's was brilliant. Noel, the rest of them are playing everything like. Well, I mean, I'm no musician, but on your ears, it was like bang on, wasn't it? And we were blown away. So there's 3 not bad ones there, though, isn't there? I mean, let's have it right. Let's have it right. I a little side one. I'm going to go for a 4th. People won't surprise us. I tell you, I did see live. Not that I'm into every minute of every song, but Metallica, and they can smash it out.
Can they?
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, if you go to a Metallica gig, it's got a Green Day. Oh, there's so many.
Brilliant. Well, listen, more football chat coming up with Sean Dyche. We've got some guests. We also got somebody on who's going to talk us through the new top Newport County have done in association with Athletic Bilbao.
Cool.
So please stay with us.
Power on TalkSport. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Yes, it's Friday at glorious Goodwood, set in the Welsh accent, glorious Goodwood, and here with the latest news and odds is Frank Hickey from Paddy Power.
Owen, how are you? A bit more glorious on Friday at Goodwood. It was very unsettled yesterday. We had a biblical downpour, 37 mils of rain fell in total. Most would appear to fall in about 30 minutes. So it really changed the ground. It went from good to firm to heavy. It's back to soft now, drying out a little bit. The highlight on the card today is the King George Catter Stakes at 305. Paddy Power paid 4 places here instead of 3. Big Mojo's the one for cash. He's been backed into 130 from 11 to 2. As for the Australian Raider, was the initial favourite. She's very weak. She was 15 to 8 at declaration stage. She's out to 9 to 2. The one I like here is Curdos for Clive Cox. He won the Richmond Stakes yesterday. Curdos is wearing first-time cheek pieces today, which might just eke out a little bit of an improvement in him. He was only beaten 2 lengths in 5th in the King Charles III Stakes at Royal Ascot, where he was drawn in 3, and the first 4 home there that day were drawn 16, 15, 17 and 14. So he actually ran really well considering his draw was probably a negative for him. His career best effort to date was probably his Group 2 Temple Stakes win ahead of last year on soft ground. So the rain that fell on Thursday should suit him, while it might inconvenience a few here. He's drawn on 13, which might be the place to be, and he's about the 8 to 1 mark. So I've had a few bob each way on him. And at 2:30, the Golden Mile handicap is always a tremendously competitive affair where we're paying 5 places instead of 4. Soft ground is a concern for a few of the fancy ones here, and traditionally it's been an advantage to be drawn low. But the last 2 years, the winner was drawn 21 and 18. Despite being drawn in 12, I'm going to side with EBT's Guard. Each way, he's very consistent and won on soft ground at Ascot at the tail end of last season, while he was unlucky not to win at this meeting last year when beaten less than a length in second. I think a mark of 96s and beyond him based his runs at Ascot, Newbury and Epsom this season. He's around the 12 to 1 mark, so he's a fair price considering the ground will suit him and inconvenience a few of the others. So I've had a few bob each way on him as well.
Thank you, Frank. And what a glorious shirt. Don't know shirts. Look at that. I'd wear that.
I know.
That's a penguin. If you can see that, it's a lovely shirt.
That's not the one I left in the Uber last
night. I'd wear that, I would say.
Yeah, that's got more than my one that I bought.
Very smart, Frankie. Thank you very much. And remember, if you want to keep up with all the latest racing news, Paddy Power's From the Horse's Mouth podcast is available every week, and you can download the latest episode from your usual podcast provider now. 18 plus, BeGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on TalkSport. Check out Paddy's latest offers on the Paddy Power app or at paddypower.com. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Now, Sean, it seems Manchester United have been doing a bit of work in the transfer market, as they say. Talking about number 9s, every kind of sort of comes back to the same conversation, really, doesn't it? But they've had some decent sign. I like him. I mean, he's got a temperament on him, hasn't he, Kuna?
Yeah,
but he's excellent.
I think there's no surprise. But you know, everyone wants goal scorers, don't they? You know, and everyone's been talking about Arsenal the last few years. Hopefully, they've got one in Gukiores, because I think he's a very good player. I hope he does well there.
Yeah,
I hope they all do well. You know, these are good players, you know. And Bueno, I've been really impressed. Before we go on to Kuna, I've been really impressed with Bueno. The reason is not just his goals. He scored a lot last season, but generally he's chipped in with, you know, kind of 8, 9, 10 around that mark, season after season in the Premier League, which is not easy by that. That sounds easy, it's not. And chipping in from a wider position where he can cut in, he can drive, he can work on transition, he reads it well defensively on transition as well. But you know, the biggest thing I like about him is availability. If you look at his stats, you know, he's very rarely broken. Very rarely he breaks. You know, he's out there playing a lot of football. And I think that's a real good quality to have, because when the pressure, the stress turns up, you know, when you're at a big club like Man United, that puts extra pressure on your body, and he's shown himself to be really resilient.
Yeah.
Kuna, I like the fact, look, you know, people talk about his attitude and good, bad, or indifferent, but you need a bit of that edge. You know, if you're a centre forward particularly, you need that edge. You need that. And if you're going into Old Trafford, although it's not the Old Trafford that it once was under Sir Alex and all them days, and, you know, that feeling, the theatre of dreams, it's kind of lost that edge. But you still got to go in there in front of all them people and deliver a performance. And you might just have that bit of on-pitch arrogance. I quite like that in a player. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's tempered and it's controlled. But I think he's a very good player, both of them. I think they're very good signings. And yet again, we don't know yet because it's on paper and it's pre-season and nothing's, out there for real yet. But amongst these players, when you look at the fees, and I'm a massive fan, I must make it clear of Isak, massive fan of his.
Yeah, you are.
But if you look at some of these players in comparison, if that does go, let's just for argument's sake, play a bit devil's advocate. Let's say that ends up at 130 million, right? Let's say it happens.
Yeah.
Then you look at Gikiores, you look at even Ekitike, I can't say his name either, but anyway, you look at him at his price, and you look at Mbeumo and Kuna, all of a sudden, you might go, well, we've got a bit of a steal here, in comparison. But that's nothing against Isak. The market's the market because he's a fine player. But I think there's a clutch of very, very good players there. It's going to be very interesting in the Premier League to see how these players adapt to their new surroundings.
Yeah, it's interesting because Kuna is one of those players, it's in temperament, but to use the ultimate example, I suppose, but Cantona going to Manchester United, he thrived there, didn't he?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Everyone talks about Cantona, and Charlie's the legendary manager he is. And fine manager, of course, but he found a way of handling that and making it work, you know, and almost playing to it, and making it work amongst the younger players. Massive stories about Cantona, the flamboyant side, but equally huge stories about on the training pitch, teaching the younger players just by his actions, by his professional actions, which people I think were surprised with that. Get a bag of balls, find a wall, stay cool. It's the oldest one in the book, you know what I mean?
It is.
And Cantona will be out there wrapping balls up against the wall, wrapping balls against the keeper, practicing free kicks. Yeah, and all the younger players, they all rubbed off from that. So
right, we're going to go back to Goodwood, to Rupert. How you doing, guys?
Very good, very good. Just got some lovely chips that have been brought to us by the producer. And chips and I'm not sure what curry sauce, which reminds me of what we get at Villa Park. So
I think chips and curry sauce are a fine thing.
Is that a curry? I thought it was garlic.
Was it? Well, and then you got brown sauce to go with yours, haven't you?
I thought that was barbecue. I don't know. I'm not very good at sauces, clearly.
Anyway, so that's been our high point during the last 30-odd minutes is the arrival of the chips, which hopefully won't get blown away. But I can tell you, from a Brighton football fan perspective, Seagulls 11 is owned by 11 members of Brighton football, and they were here yesterday, but have had to not turn up to see their horse run, Seagulls 11, because they're on their way to Poland for a pre-season friendly. So
what are they, actual players?
Actual players.
Oh,
James Milner,
cool.
Adam Lallana and various others are, there's 11 Brighton players involved in it. So, but it's the third favourite. Cosmic Year is going in. Who do you quickly fancy as...
I like Cosmic Year. He's the best horse in the race. My concern is the ground. He's beautifully bred. He was second behind Field of Gold in the Irish Guineas. This should be his race. Let's hope it's not too deep for him.
Well, it's a four-runner affair. A couple of non-runners, which we knew about early on. A little slowly into the stride was King of Cities, but be interesting to see what sort of pace they want to go. But actually, Colin Keane on Cosmic Year has decided he'll just play a waiting game, and there's a line of three, including Seagulls 11, then Diego Ventura and King of Cities. They are disputing the lead. We're tracking this trio is Cosmic Year. As they go through the first furlong and a half, it's downhill for the early part of the race. Then they hit some rising ground before they then turn left-handed into the straight here. So Seagulls 11 and Oisin Murphy, who won the first race in a bit of a romp on Kyle of Lacouche, who's leading the way by half a length from Diego Ventura. And then in third is King of Cities. And just worrying for Colin Keane, he won't want to try and get boxed in on Cosmic Year, but with four runners that should not happen. But it is Seagulls 11 who leads them by half a length from Diego Ventura, and James Doyle just tracking that one on the outside. Then wider of that one is King of Cities, and still behind the leading three is Cosmic Year and Colin Keane. As they come into the straight with 2.5 furlongs to go now, the race now quickens with urging Diego Ventura into the lead is James Doyle. On this near side, King of Cities is quickening up, but Cosmic Year is still looking for a bit of a gap on that far side, and he's in danger of getting squeezed, and he is in danger of being squeezed because Seagulls 11 is still out in front. Cosmic Year is not getting a clean split at the moment, and on this near side we've got the King of Cities, and Cosmic Year got absolutely boxed in there, and that wasn't Colin Keane's finest hour, because it is Brighton Football Club's finest hour as owners, because Seagulls 11 has held on to win for Oisin Murphy. Now, I'm afraid, in a 4-runner race, I'm not going to cast stones, but he got that wrong, didn't he?
Got that very wrong. Crikey, that was not pretty. Seagulls 11 has come home in front. Diego Ventura second. King of Cities third. But the horse that should have won that 3 times over has finished last.
Yeah, really, he got it wrong because there's not the cutaway that they've had in the first 3 days where you can duck inside and you get a split. But the other jockeys knew exactly what they were doing in the sense that they were making it really hard for him. And a long time...
Well, Ryan Moore was the instigator of that. He was the first person to sit upside them. Actually, it hasn't really paid off for him. You know, he's not benefited. He's finished third. He's not benefited from that move. But, you know, you're at the 2 pole. And I've heard flat jockeys say, oh, a gap will come. And it really didn't at any stage because all of those horses kept galloping. You know, if Seagulls 11 or Diego Ventura, if they had started falling out the back of the television, then there would have been a gap, but they didn't. And Colin Keane, you know, he had to make several attempts to try and get through gaps, which just weren't there, really.
Well, so Seagulls 11, the 11-4 chance, has come through and won that race. And 4-runner races can be tactical affairs. And for the Cosmic Year Camp, I'm sure that some head scratching, and bearing in mind it's in the same colours as Field of Gold.
Poor old Jumpman, awful.
Well, they did still win that race with Kirat, but
that's true.
It wasn't their finest hour there. Seagulls 11 takes our second. We've got a big handicap over a mile with 17 runners going to post. That's at 2:30. A really competitive looking contest.
Yes, thanks to Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly there. Superb as always. You can watch every race live from the Qatar Goodwood Festival and Galway Festival only on Racing TV. You can start a free 31-day trial now by heading to racingtv.com/free trial. All Racing TV members also get access to over 100 days, free days, and a free share in their syndicate racehorse, The Lost Stock. Start your free trial now.
Newcastle have rejected an official bid from Liverpool for Alexander Isak. The bid is believed to be over 100 million, but the Magpies don't want to sell and they value the Swede at 150 mil. In other transfer news, Tottenham have agreed a loan deal with Bayern for João Palhinha. Meanwhile, Rangers have signed Mikey Moore on a season-long loan from Spurs. And Sunderland have signed goalkeeper Robin Roos from NEC Nijmegen ahead of their return to the Premier League. Get all the latest at TalkSport.com. Elsewhere, things are going from bad to worse at Sheffield Wednesday. Their behind-closed-doors friendly against Burnley this weekend has been called off after players and coaching staff boycotted the match in protest at the club's owner. Jeff and Chansiri failed to pay their wages on time this week for the 4th month out of 5. James Mappin, the Wednesdays Till I Die podcast host, is devastated with the state of his club.
I'm so angry, Alex, just the whole situation that one man has done all of this. He's just, there's people out there that are, almost reduced to tears just watching the club just slowly die in front of their eyes.
Ahead of the 3rd and final Lions test, there's another injury in the Australia camp. Hooker Dave Parecki's out with a cut heel. Billy Pollard will win just his 2nd test cap at number 2. The Lions are going for a whitewash in the series, and Wallabies legend David Campese says the weather might play in the visitors' favour.
It's been very wet here at the moment. It's rained basically every day in Sydney, so it'll probably obviously help the European side because of you guys are used to it. We're not really used to playing the wet. I just hope it's a good game. I just hope there's not going to be any controversy like last week.
It says former Lion Louis Rees-Zammit has confirmed he's quitting the NFL and is returning to rugby. Former Wales winger Alex Cuthbert says this will be huge for the sport.
He had a good crack at it, but it was a win-win for me. I think his exposure, his profile is massive. He's going to come back to rugby and people are going to welcome him with open arms.
For all the latest on these stories, head to TalkSport.com.
Yes, Jonny Owen here with Sean Dyche to my left. It's just gone 2:05 on Friday afternoon. We're just talking about fancying a first pint. We've got to finish the show first.
You were. I didn't say a word.
But I put the thought in your mind and you're like, I could do the pint now, actually. Yeah, so listen, no more breaking news, actually. Liverpool are preparing a second bid, Sean.
Yes.
Isak. So obviously they're very serious about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're going to come back to that because plenty of time to talk.
Big numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're having loads of messages, as you'd expect, from Everton fans. Some really nice ones, actually, Sean. Tell Sean Dyche I am so grateful for the superb job he did at Everton under really difficult circumstances. He's always welcome back. That's Mike, the Everton fan.
Brilliant,
and Andy, another Everton fan. It's amazing when you walk around how many Everton fans come on to you and just say thanks for you did.
Yeah, well, like I said, the younger generation maybe, and I'm not blaming them, but maybe they haven't seen the old times. Some of the older generation has seen Everton really have some really tough times in the past. So to go through them tough times again, I think there's been a bit of respect, shown to myself and the staff and the players from them couple of years, and I do value it, and I thank them very much for it.
Yeah. So this is from Andy, another Everton fan, and he's asking him what you think about Everton's transfer window so far.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough. I mean, I was under no illusions when I was there. The new owners came in, but I didn't think they were going to just throw money, left, right and centre. Still have to be careful with the finances, make sure that's in good check. I know David's Moyes has been quite vocal, actually, recently in saying that, they need reinforcements, they need more depth, and they've had a tough pre-season. But when they get players fit, they are missing some really important players, as we did ourselves. And it's hard, if you haven't got a depth of squad and you miss some key players. In answer to your question, I think it's been in a different period for the transfers, but as I suggest, they haven't got depth of money. There's the talk of the boy Dibley, I think it is, from Southampton. I thought was a very good player. when I saw him. Maybe they can get that one across the line. We'll have to wait and see. And it looks to me like they're signing players who can grow into the club. But obviously, from Moyes' point of view, he wants players who can do it now, like all managers do.
You're very good friends with David Moyes, aren't you? You even sort of recommended when you left he would be the guy.
I mean, we spoke on the show, so I won't bore everyone with it. But yeah, I spoke to the owner when it was kind of that mutual kind of decision of, okay, well, times are changing. I said, look, I'd speak to Moyes. I said, I'm not saying he'll do it, but I think he knows the club like the back of his hand. He knows the people. He knows the mentality. He knows everything about Everton Football Club. So I spoke to him direct, not on behalf of the club, you understand. When he sort of agreed to take it, he rang me, Moyes, and said, look, what do you think? And as we spoke about, I said they're in good shape. And he was brilliant for me in the sense that when they got off and running and had some great results, he did actually say, he said, no, Sean said they were in good shape, and he meant it, and they are in good shape. They just needed a new voice, a new change, that revitalisation that often comes from a new manager and new coaches. It's just a change, and a change is as good as a rest sometimes in football. Players respond differently. We got a good response for 2 seasons out of them in very important times, and Moyes had a great response. Now he's got to do it all again and mould some new players and some younger players into a developing group, and it's going to be a big challenge for him, but he's certainly a man who can do that because of the depth he's got in his knowledge of the game.
And obviously all that stuff about is there pressure, Sean, if you want to move into a new stadium? Is it like, people expect results now?
Yeah, it's a strange thing. I think I did a remark on that when there was a lot of noise, about my tenure there and about the new stadium, and people remarked, I said the new stadium doesn't win games just because it's a new stadium. No. The players will win games, but the crowd there do help, and I want the crowd, and I hope the crowd, the Evertonians, can make that a new fortress, because whether results were good or bad in my time or previous times for different managers, Goodison had that feel, there's a certain energy and a feel in it, and it can be very, very hard to play for other teams. It can be hard for yourselves at times, things ain't going well, but it can be very difficult for opposition playing there, and I hope they can make that real feel to a new stadium and give it that feel. I hope the Evertonians can do that for the club and for the players.
Brilliant. I'm sure I'll get in loads and loads of messages for you, so I'm going to read some of them out. We've got a lovely one here from a guy called Matt. Dyche legend. Back in 91, I won Player of the Year at Ice Lodge, there we go, and the chairman Jim Hoover,
legend,
told me I reminded him of a young Sean Dyche. I didn't have a clue who you were at the time, but now I dropped that story in the pub like it's a signed T-shirt. You played for Ice Lodge when you were a kid, so technically I am Dyche 2-0.
Do you know what? My best bit of advice I've ever been given was Jim Hoover, and I've shared this in many interviews. Yeah. When I asked about the best thing that anyone's ever told you, I was 7 years old, and he said, a great attitude is everything.
Yeah.
Said you can worry about talent and all that. And he was just a local guy wanting to take on a youth system and club and sort of build teams and all that.
Yeah.
What a brilliant bit of advice, and I always name check him on that because it's a brilliant bit of advice, and I use it with players young and old. About a great attitude is everything.
It's a fine bit of advice. Getting lots of questions about, because obviously we were just talking about Manchester United and some of the signings that they've made this summer, and they're saying that, as a fan, you're saying, Sean, surely Amarin's got to hit the ground running this season. He's had the season to warm up, but now we've signed the players. So it's a massive football club. There's pressure, but I suppose, it's all about results, and he has to win football matches, isn't he?
Definitely. I think I was looking at the stats, 42 games in, 16 wins, 10 draws, 16 losses. I think that's more or less right.
Yeah.
From what I read. That's a pretty good run at it when you're a Man United manager to get them stats. 42 games, a pretty good run at it if your stats are not that heavy in wins.
Yes.
Good in a way. I don't want to see managers being sacked, quite obviously. I've had it a few times myself. You don't want that. But that is a pretty long run. So I think this season he has got to hit the ground running. He's made it he's been very vocal actually about I'm not changing my style. Mm-hmm. That's his choice. I did suggest in a podcast, that little one that Keno does, I did suggest that if he just simplified it with the group he had, he would have won more games. But his philosophy, as they use the word now, not him, everyone does, is to not do that. His philosophy is the longer game. But within that longer game, to get in that philosophy to work and win games, and he might have the last laugh against everyone, you got to win along the way, because if not, you ain't going to get that time. No. And I think it's a really, really important start, probably the most important start in the Premier League for Man United. I've had a long time for the manager, that is. I think he has to hit the ground running this season.
It's interesting you should say that, because I was watching something yesterday, and a good friend of yours, Sam Allardyce, did a podcast recently, and he was talking about the way that he managed, that he would change the way he played quite often because to adapt it to the opponents. When somebody says, this is my style, Clough was a great example of this. He changed. The boys talk about the second European Cup final where they went to one up front during the game where Birtles went up front.
Yeah.
Because, is that a modern thing?
Yeah, a lot of change, a subtle change. Like we did it for Burnley, it was constant 4-4-2. That's all Sean Dyche plays. You know, And they went to Everton. No one mentioned the fact I never played 4-4-2. They never mentioned it. It's like, you know, but you've got to work with the players you've got. Yeah. You've got to put them into a system that can establish yourselves, first of all, as a team. Yeah. And then beat the opposition. You've got to find different ways of doing it. Yeah. You know, I remember my first game, we played Arsenal. We played a floating 3 in midfield. So rather than 1.5 centre forward or like a soft 9 or a number 10, as they call it, we played with a floating 3. Yeah. So we dropped one of the midfielders, which was Decore's. They've got amazing legs. Sort of shuffle across the pitch, fill the gaps for a great Arsenal side. We went on set piece, you know, we won 1-0. And I was really pleased with that tactically as a manager. But that's an adaptation of a similar situation. So, you know, if it's a 4-2-3-1 with a number 10, well, if that number 10 just sinks into a floating 3 in midfield, all of a sudden it's like a 4-5-1, you know. Yes. And this can happen in a game, you know, and people sometimes don't see the subtlety of changing tactics. You know, I remember playing against the Man United side with a diamond, and they had a diamond, so we just tucked in our wide players on the outside of their midfield players, so they could still get out to the fullback, but they could cover the midfield. And these are little adaptations, but they're important. Yardages on a football pitch make a big difference. Crunching the pitch, you know, how quickly your back four can get up the pitch. That makes a huge difference if your back four can get up the pitch fast to make sure there's no space to play, particularly if you're playing against some of the very good sides that are out there. All these little tactical nuances, but guess what? They only get spoken about when you're winning. If you lose, everyone gets clueless. Again, the tactics might be spot on. It's the delivery of tactics.
We're going to listen to a voice, and I've just got to say something to the audience. I was watching a match they once, and I think it was like Forest were playing. They were winning 1-0, and it was right at the very end, and Forest was sat very, very deep, and you kind of went, everybody just goes very deep when you 1-0 up. A few minutes to go. There's not an idea of tactics or football. You're like, everybody just goes, we've got to sit deep. Yeah, so that's very. Anyway, here's a voice note.
Hello, Sean. It's Paul, the Man United fan here. So Fergie once turned up at a party that Ryan Giggs and Lee Sharp were at, and he dragged them out. I just wanted to know, how would you react if your players were partying before a match?
Oh, good question.
I remember the incident.
I do, actually,
all the players have mentioned it down the years. Yeah. I don't think it was the night before a game, by the way, but I think it was close to a game. Yeah. It might have been after a game or something. No, I mean, players are players. They have a different way of doing it. He was an incredible manager, incredible man, but he brought them up from boys almost. He's like a sort of a kind of a distant father figure, wasn't he? You know, so I think it was probably different. But no, I think it's unlikely that I went into someone's house and started saying, "Oh, you get out." I think it's unlikely. It's improbable, I would say. Although I do have that fearsome look, even though I'm a softie, really. But I think it would probably be go, "Is he just walked in to get us out of here?" But anyway, I doubt I'd get involved in that.
No, brilliant. So you're listening to Owen and Dyche on TalkSport, or Dyche and Owen, in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, Shop Toolstation's award-winning Hawksmoor lawn. Do you ever mow your lawn, Sean?
Which one? Couldn't resist it.
In store, on app, and online. Next stop, Toolstation.
Some tune.
The hit of the summer. That is, of course, Haircut by Reverend and the Makers, featuring my missus, Vicky McClure. And we've got the man that wrote the song and is the lead singer himself. Very handsome face here, filling our screens. John McClure, look at that face. And he's on a train, so I'm hoping the signal is okay. John, can you hear us, pal?
I can hear you, boys. I am currently in the vestibule area of a train to London, but happy to be on with you both. How are you doing?
I'm very good. So why are you on your way to London? Tell us.
Well, I am appearing on the One Show this evening with one Vicky McClure, and I've also got a new handsome Welsh bass player by the name of Jonny Owen joining me.
Can't believe it, big man. You're letting him get the old bass out, eh?
I told John, I got to tell her, I told my mother today, she was delighted. She's like, oh, are you on the One Show? I'll have to tell her off your family. So I'm looking forward to being on there later on. Listen, a fantastic song, mate, and you're flying at the moment. The band's doing great. You've got festivals coming up. Tell us a little bit what you've been up to, mate.
Had a busy period of Day Fever festivals, which continues to be a roaring success around the country, as you know, and then a bunch of rev shows culminating in the big one on August 30th, 20 years of the band, and then obviously been following a bit of this Oasis reunion. Saw my favourite football manager, Sean Dyche, at Cardiff.
Go on, boy. Go on. Go on, big boy. Are we having a sup later or what?
Are you having a pint after, John?
Are we having a sup?
Smiling there, like.
Are we having a sup?
Oh, I've broken up.
I'm struggling with you above the noise of the railway.
Oh, bless him, yeah. So he's on a train, John is at the moment. Yeah, he's on the One Show later. The single's doing great. And me and Sean are going to head over there. I'll probably head over there later.
Yeah,
I'm actually playing the bass.
The big fella, he might buy me a pint for a change. It's always my round.
Yeah. Right, there's been a wicket in the cricket. I'm a poet and I don't even know it. So let's go over to that quickly.
Yeah, I told you about England losing their second wicket right after lunch. Since then, we've had a fascinating passage of play. Plenty of needle out in the middle. Plenty of chirp, in particular Pradesh Krishna and Joe Root coming pretty close to each other. Even Joe Root getting a little bit angry, a little bit frustrated. You don't often see that happen from Joe Root. But England have now lost their third wicket, 142 for 3. Fair play to Mohammad Siraj. He's bowled a beauty to Ollie Pope, a ball. They came back in sharply, hit him on the pad, given not out on field. It did look like originally maybe the ball was doing a little bit too much and going down the leg side. Shubman Gill reviewed. Brilliant review. Ball hitting leg stump. So Pope goes for 22. Crawley also dismissed after lunch for 64. Giroud unbeaten on 8. Harry Brook comes to the crease. There's been lots of needle in this series. Plenty of chat. After lunch, this test match bubbling along nicely. England 142 for 3, trailing India by 82 runs.
Oh, that's some test series. That is England versus India, or as we call it in Nottingham, Boatsy versus Jits. That's on my WhatsApp group. That's all I hear from them. We've managed to get John McClure back on the train, speeding his way to London, ready for his show, for his appearance on the One Show tonight. John, can you hear us, pal?
I can hear you now, lads. Yeah, sorry about that. I had issues hearing the timbre of Sean's voice.
Hey, do you know what? You missed the most important question. Sean was like, are you having a sup later?
Yeah, so are we catching you for a sup or what?
Yes, lads. I am looking forward to seeing you both, and hopefully we can have a few pints.
Good man.
A good man. John, I was going to just talk, I'm football. I don't know if you've seen today, me and Sean were talking about it earlier, and our producer Sean as well, another Sean. Tommy Craig has gone viral at the moment. He's actually appealing to Prince William to sort of intervene on behalf of the fans of Sheffield Wednesday. It's looking pretty dire there at the moment, Sheffield Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible. I did.
Oh, he's gone again.
Oh, goodness, bless him.
We've lost him. Well, bless him. We've just lost him.
He's going to get into mid-flow there as well. He's very passionate about Wednesday.
Well, he's a rock and roll star, so he's probably gone to the bar, hasn't he? It's probably the most sensible thing. Found the trolley that's coming through. But yeah, John McClure, he's on the One Show tonight. My missus is on as well, singing the new single Haircut. If you fancy sort of tuned in, obviously have TalkSport on in the background as well.
Of course.
Maybe just put it up so you can see us on the screen. Sean, we were just talking about getting so many great sort of messages. And
can I just, but I've got to give a mention too.
Go on.
Just quickly, because I'm getting messages as well.
Yeah.
Just very quickly. Mark Bircham and Lee Bircham. Mark Bircham I played with at Millwall, great lads, but they spray acid everywhere. And he's actually, Lee Bircham, right, can rip a shred off anyone. And he's actually praised me. He actually said, you sound good on the radio. I can't believe it. I thought he meant look good. He actually praised me, so thanks, Lee. It's a remarkable thing to get a tiny modicum of praise from Lee Bircham is a big thing.
There you go. Yeah, I've getting loads. My brother's messaged in, Chris, saying, are you Sean? Not me.
I couldn't understand him. He spoke that quick.
He does talk very fast Welsh. Some great questions coming in, Sean. 2 questions for Dyche, right? Number 1 is, in your opinion, who's the most talented player you've ever managed? I know it's a tough one for you.
Kieran
Trippier, there we go. And your proudest moment as a manager?
Oh, I think I like the development of players. I like it when they go on and do great things, including trips. But I think the first promotion for Burnley, because it was such a whirlwind of a season, incredible flow of a group of players completely devoted to getting the job done, and I think they were, every single one of them played their part, and the staff. A fantastic season. It'd be hard to top that, I think. Actually,
well, we'll talk about Burnley a bit more when you come back, because I know you're very fond of your time there. Like you're fond of all your team, and I always make people smile. They go, "Really?" I always go, "He always looks for the results." They go, "Really?" And I'm like, why would he not?
Yeah. I know it's weird. It's like you should hold something against them. It's like you should hold something against Everton. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, we did a good job, but the results went the wrong way. I come out of it. That's it. End of. You know what I mean? There's not even remotely a bad word to say about Everton, other than I hope they do well.
Do you ever have that moment and think, I managed Everton Football Club?
Yeah, no, it's a strange thing, because there was a time when they were like, no chance could he manage them, and then you get the job, and then they go, all right, he's manager, and then they want you in, and we're doing great, and then we have the 10 points. Now I'm a legend, and then a week later I'm not. See you later.
That's football.
I know that's football, folks. There you go. Quick précis of my time just there.
Stay with us.
Newcastle have rejected an official bid from Liverpool for Alexander Isak. The bid is believed to be over 100 million, but the Magpies don't want to sell and they value the Swede at 150 mil. In other transfer news, Tottenham have agreed a loan deal with Bayern for João Palhinha. Meanwhile, Rangers have signed Mikey Moore on a season-long loan from Spurs. And Sunderland have signed goalkeeper Robin Roos from NEC Nijmegen ahead of their return to the Premier League. Get all the latest at TalkSport.com. Ahead of the third and final Lions test, there's another injury in the Australia camp. Hooker Dave Parecki's out with a cut heel. Billy Pollard.
Yes, it is Jonny, Owen and Sean Dyche indeed, but we're now nipping across to Goodwood for race 3, the Golden Miles, with the lovely Rupert Bell and Lizzie Kelly.
Thank you. Welcome back to our third race. This is a 16-runner affair. A number of non-runners, mainly because of the ground. So still going to be quite a frenetic race with over a mile with a bend. So this could be a scrappy race. But the favourite is the Godolphin-owned fifth column, William Buick on board from Greek Order. Oshin Murphy seeking a hat-trick. What do you make of this one, Lizzie? Is the draw important because they're coming off the bend? It could get scrappy.
I think they generally say that the lower numbers are better. So that would be Greek Order in number 2, and who else is over on that side? Roscolan also as well. The Theory of Everything also there. I quite like Dutch Decoy. He comes here chasing a hat-trick. He's got a nice light weight. I think that he's actually slightly improving at the moment. Skukuza.
Yeah, I know, it's an awful name to pronounce.
He's won on him the last twice, so he knows him, and I think he probably could have had a pick between him and a couple of others, and I think he's gone for him, so that's an interesting one. Fifth column is the favourite, a son of Kingman for Godolphin, John and Thady Gosden, William Buick on board. He's coming out of stall 7, so not too high. He's won 3 times over a mile. He's certainly an interesting horse as well. He's got a £3 penalty for his last victory, but you know he's in really good form and obviously fancied as well.
Can you make a case for Greek Order?
Yep, I think you very much can make a case for Greek Order. Obviously trained by your brother Michael. He's actually bred by Juddmonte, believe it or not, but he's been successful over a mile, also a mile 2. So you know he's got a bit of stamina there. So I feel like Oisin Murphy will be able to make a little bit of use of him if need be. He was 3rd last time out.
Well, he went off to the States last year and it didn't work out for the horse who'd been runner-up in the Cambridgeshire in 2023, but has certainly been revitalised by coming back here. So a degree of expectation, but Oisin Murphy having a great start to the day. They are loading them in to the stalls pretty quickly. Coming forward is EBT's Guard, and who has been run pretty consistently. On the far side of that one I can see Blue For You, Kieran Schumark, who had a nice winner earlier in the week. And then coming forward is Greek Order. Just 2 more to come in. One of them is Bopidro, Hector Crouch on board. Greek Order coming forward with Oisin Murphy with that low draw on the near side. And I think there's just 1 more to come in for this Golden Mile handicap over a mile, as I say, and Roscolan gets a good break and actually slowly into the stride was fantastic. Fox wasn't too quickly away, and another one not quickly away was Tribal Chief. But as they lead them, and as is traditional, Ryan Moore likes to set the pace on Skakuza and is so from Real Gain. Then EPT's Guard is in 3rd. Fifth column's in a good position right up there, and another one right up there I can see. Blue For You also. Whitcomb Rockstar is another one travelling well in the early stages. Looking for Greek Order in mid-div. They're sort of packing now as they take the turn round towards the home straight. So fifth column going well, looks to be tracking the leaders. Whitcomb Rockstar sits in 3rd, but Ryan Moore is out in front trying to control the pace of the race as they now start to swing downhill. Skakuza going along nicely, a length from Real Gain. Then fifth column, Whitcomb Rockstar. Also right up there is EBT's Guard on the inside. Greek Order may get trapped in a bit bit of room, but on the wide on the outside I can see Bopidro and also Afentico trying to get a run through. So as they come into the straight, real gain, and it's James Doyle. He's starting to wind it up here. Also Ross Collins running a big race. Another one running a big race is EBT's Guard, who's now maybe just swept into the lead. EBT's Guard from Real Gain, and is really starting to quicken up. Greek Order's got a wall of horses in front of him, but on the far side, Roskalin's running a huge race. Can he get the split? Roskalin, who ran 2 days ago, is coming out. EPT's Guard on this near side from Real Gain, but Roskalin was running here 2 days ago and finished down the field, but the rain has helped Roskalin to come through. Danny Tudhope coming in for the ride, and he found the split in the final stages and has come through to win that, and a very sweetly timed run. Horse had been not in great form, but clearly with the wetter ground has benefited to come through ahead of EPT's Guard, and in third was Real Gain, and in fourth spot was Greek Order.
Yeah, fantastic performance, but a lovely ride from Danny Tudhope. But you could see this horse was always travelling really well, even when they turned, they were turning around that bend, and you know, you've always felt like he was able to just hang on and wait. And wait for that break. It's come for him, which is great, but the horse has travelled so well, was swinging off him practically wherever he went, so a really decent performance.
Well, that's a 6th course win here, so he's a real specialist here and loves racing here. Roskalin has come through to win at 11-2, so plenty of people would have backed that, and well judged ride by Danny Tudhope. There were a few unlucky stories in the race, but that is often the way in a big handicap here at Goodwood. But it's Roskalin who has taken this Golden Mile handicap. Next up, our feature race of the day is the King George Qatar Stakes, a 5-furlong dash with some really good sprinters going to post.
Yes, thank you, Rupert. Thank you, Lizzie. It's the Goodwood race, Golden Miles. I always think of Blackpool when that comes up, Golden Mile. You know what I mean? Yeah, racing donkeys maybe on that beach rather than the fine animals they've got racing. You're not a massive racing fan, are you? You like the day out?
I like the day out, but I'm not really mad on the gambling. I have a little flirt, but nothing major.
Yeah. Not, it wasn't a family thing for me. My old man never did it, so you just...
and didn't really grow up around it, you know what I mean? But I enjoy going, though. I've been looked after a few times. Beautiful. The Ascot was fantastic.
Great,
they're new, well, not new, but the stand there, absolutely amazing.
Beautiful,
the quality of everything. And Derek Tomo Thompson, I must give a mention.
Yeah.
He took us down, me and Rido and a couple of the ladies from the League Managers Association who kind of host the day. He saw us and took us down into the Royal area, the dress ring, is it called, I think.
Yeah.
And then he actually took us right on literally on the trackside. And
I thought you were going to say he got us on a horse then.
Give us a tip. He won. He did actually win.
Did it?
75 years young. What a guy. First time I met him, what a guy. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's a brilliant world, isn't it?
Yeah, me and Stephen Reid did give us a lovely insight into what it all was about.
Wonderful. We're getting loads and loads of interaction, Sean, which is lovely. And something you just said earlier on, which is interesting. Tony has messaging. Hi, lads. Hello, Tony. 42,000 Adidas Florin Vitz shirts sold in the first hour. And we were just saying about a player brings those kind of things to a club.
Yeah,
often. Do you know what
I mean, look, I know. Look, players do get paid a huge amount of money now. There's no argument against that.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember that some of these players on their own bring in huge revenues to these football clubs in shirt sales and bits and bobs and all sorts. It's not just the shirts, we imagine the shirts, but it might be joke slogans on the shirts and all sorts. There's all kinds of marketing goes on for these players.
Yeah. Listen, I know you're quite a self-depreciating man, but I've just got to read this one up and then we'll have a chat about teams that come up. So this is from Austin Clark in Norfolk, right? I must say TalkSport is now involved into a credible sports station based on the fact that Sean Dyche is sitting in the studio. Yeah.
Really?
No, I've never supported any of the clubs he's managed, but his style in football and with the media is to be commended. That's how the game should be approached, and I now say this as not a Norwich fodder, but I'd love to have him here. He's always been my favourite choice. Thank you, Austin Clark.
No, thank you, Austin. And what a name, by the way.
It's great.
Like an actor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like Austin Clark. Featuring Austin Clark.
Like a late 70s New York series, and featuring Austin Clark.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good, like cop series.
Yes, he's a sergeant.
It's good, isn't it? Hard sergeant.
Hard.
Yeah.
He doesn't do things...
Got an edge to him.
No, doesn't do things in the
like Harvey Keitel.
Yes.
Harvey Keitel style, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Got a furious boss who's like, hey, but he gets results.
Yeah.
He gets results. Austin Clark. gets results.
There you
Anyway,
go.
here we go. We've just invented a new TV series. If
Yeah, we
Netflix
just-
and it's
No,
the teams are coming
I mean,
up. Teams are coming up.
I think you've known me a while. I'm serious about what I do
Yeah, of
when I'm
course.
working. But it's nice to be on a show like this where we can play around with it a little bit, and tell some stories and give an insight, hopefully, to some, but also have a bit, a bit of fun with it. At the end of the day, it's a brilliant game. It's a beautiful game. And it's a very serious game, but it still is a game. And I still think we can have a bit of fun with it. So, thank you, Austin, for your message.
Kind words. You're talking about that. Then teams that come up. You took Burnley up twice. That was a big moment. I mean, people made a lot of that the owners stuck with you and you brought them back up and you repaid their faith and repaid them financially.
Just a bit.
Yes.
Did all right with yourself, though.
Yeah.
Makes you
nothing wrong with
all right. Don't worry about that.
You're there. How many lawnmowers is it again? Yeah, how many people lawnmowers? But when you brought them up the first time, I mean, how difficult is that transition, Sean, from the Championship?
It's incredibly difficult. I know, linking in with what one of our talks or what we're going to discuss is the three teams coming up. You come up, the first season that we were up was different. The board agreed that it was my started the process of saying, look, you've got to leave more. The time they'd come up before, they were massively in debt. They were still playing players off and all sorts. And I said, you can't do that. I said, just before we got it done, when it was close, I said, look, if we get this done, you've got to build something more than just me and this season. I said, it needs more. So therefore, they ring-fence money for the training ground, the structure of the club, new facilities at the club, and rejuvenate the whole kind of business side of it. Now, of course, we paid the price. We only put $9 million into the team that year and only swelled the wages. Most of it naturally swelled because of performance-based incentives for the players and myself and stuff like that. But new players come in, they went on big money. And we actually got 33 points, so we had a go at it. It wasn't like we were SBC snookers by Christmas. We were okay. But we couldn't stay up. And then they stood by me the next season. We had a bit of a wobble going up to Christmas, then 23 undefeated, and we won the league. So, I don't like to mention that, but it's a nice moment.
Slip that in,
it's a nice moment, but, so that model works. Now, for these guys now coming up, and last season and this season, huge, the last two seasons, I think it is, the three come up, three go down. Same three. That's how big it's getting. The gap is increasing. I've been frustrated. I've spoken openly about it. Whether we're playing the right way, and you go, well, you went down. Now about staying up playing the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I hope these clubs can learn from not my experience, what I'm saying, but from their own experience, and go, right, can we maybe out-slick it in the Premier League like we did in the Championship? Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Burnley tried to do that under Vincent Kompany, fantastic manager of the years, and gone on to great things. But the point is, they tried to do that, it didn't work. So I'm interested to see with these three teams, if they change their style and go, no, hang on a minute, we're going to have to be more resilient maybe, or we're going to have to defend more, or we're going to have to defend more as a team. We're going to have to play on a defensive model. Maybe a bit like a Forest version, but I'm not saying that with the same prowess as Forest have shown this year, but that kind of defend to attack side kind of scenario.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see if these have. Now, Scotty Parker, who I thought did a fantastic job, amazing job. I'm amazed he wasn't manager of the season last season with the stats and the facts and what he did. They look like they had a really defensive solidarity amongst the team. Now, it's a lot harder to do that in the Premier League, but maybe will they stick with that format and say, well, it served us well. Leeds a different animal, bigger scenario in a way, and the history and the feel of the club than Burnley. That's not doing Burnley down. Obviously, I've got an incredible soft spot for Burnley. But they've got a few more rounded players who've been there a bit longer and a bit more deep in their knowledge. And then suddenly they're going to have it all to do, because you look at their team that came up, a lot of names you never even heard of, but now they've got that hungry chance to go and be a Premier League player.
And they've been very active in the transfer market.
I mean, they brought in Xhaka, which I think is a good sign with his experience and his knowledge of the game. And he's got an edge to him. I haven't seen him for a couple of years, but you get what I mean, from when I remember him. Got that edge to him, and hopefully that'll rub off on the other players. I mean, look, I'd love to see them all do well. I just think the challenge is getting harder and harder, and I'm going to be really intrigued to see the style of how they try and do it.
Yes.
Not necessarily whether they can do it or not. We'll have to wait and see, but the style of how they do it.
And why? So, in your opinion, why is it getting? Is it because the financial discrepancy is widening all the time? Is that the problem?
Yeah, well, I think that's certainly up there. And a lot of the Championship clubs who historically had a real go for it with their finance, and then eventually have gone, right, we can't keep doing this, and then they've had to bring maybe younger players in, more development style players, and build a different club. There's not the riches there were. The riches are heavily in the Premier League. In saying that, the gap is changing with the quality as well. The quality of the Championship, and that's not doing the Championship down, because I think it's a fantastic league. I've been in it a couple of seasons myself. The frantic league and the energy and the commitment to the cause and the prize at the end of it. So it's a fantastic league, but people have told me who worked in it. You know, Chris Wilder's a good friend of mine, and a couple of seasons ago he said it's not as strong as it was like 7 or 8 years ago or 10 years ago when I was doing it. You know, and Chris and people like that. You know, they feel the strength and depth of the Championship has softened, and that's been shown by, of course, the teams going down do come up, and the teams that went up come down.
Yeah.
So you know there's an obvious measure, but it can be done. It can be done. You can stay in there. Forest did it. Against the odds. I know they got themselves in maybe a few financial question marks, but they just invested in it and went for it. On the other hand, Ipswich put a lot of money in, didn't quite do it. Fulham did it a number of years ago, if you remember, put a lot of money in and didn't do it. They didn't stay up.
No.
It's not that easy. You know, it's combining the knowledge of the players, if you can get the knowledge in the building. I always would recommend, if you can get a couple of seasoned professionals who have been in the Premier League into your group, that is invaluable in my opinion. If you know you've got a youngish group or a bit novice looking for the Premier League, if you can get a couple who have been there, seen it and done it, I think that is invaluable in a team going up.
And what about that thing we spoke about before? So Swansea did it, didn't they? And Burnley was a good example when you were there. Sometimes you can be established 5 years plus, and then suddenly a season can turn on you.
Yeah, but even Swansea's a great example. Do you remember when Brendan went up with it through the playoffs?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, they didn't win an away game till about the March or something like that?
Right.
It was their home was everything.
Yeah.
We did it at Burnley. The time when we went down, back up, and then stayed up. We finally won our first away game. I think it was March. I think it was away at Palace.
Yeah.
We won 2-0, and that secured us in the Premier League. Your home has to become a fortress. Your home has to be uncomfortable for teams.
Yeah.
And I've been amazed at some of the teams that have gone up over the last couple of seasons. I watched them play at home, and they're playing like you know, let's imagine the right way, as everyone calls it now. And I'm thinking, you ain't going to win playing like that.
No.
You ain't going to win playing like that in the Premier League. You're going to get hit. And they have. If you look at the home records of a lot of the teams that have gone up over the last couple of seasons, their home records have been nowhere near what they need to be, that is.
Yeah.
They've been good in reflection of the away records, but you need a certain number of points at home in the Premier League. If you don't get them, you're going to have it tough.
This is brilliant. Sean, thanks very much for all that. Just a quick shout out before we go to the break. Wrexham obviously have gone back to back and lost one of the legends, Joey Jones, the great Joey Jones recently. A legend there and a legend at Chelsea and Liverpool, so God bless you, Joey Jones.
10k for Coldplay.
Right, you've only got a few days left to enter a huge prize draw to win 10 grand and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley Stadium. That's right, we're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. And we're chucking in 10 grand spending money. Oof, not bad.
Right, that camera's off.
I was going to say, completely tax-free. But it all ends on Monday, so here's how to enter. 18 plus, UK excluding, Northern Ireland. This is a TalkSport Limited production run on TalkSport, Talk and Virgin Radio UK station. Full T's and C's at TalkSport.com. 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338. Weird when they spell the numbers rather than put them in there. Text the word WIN to 83338. That's right, isn't it? By 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill player's permission or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, P.O. Box 3190. That's easy, see? P.O. Box 3190, Colchester C028GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. There you go. Right, we're going to talk about the British Lions now. And here's a man, Sean, who was the bane of my life for a good 15 years as a Welshman. A fantastic centre for Ireland is the brilliant Gordon Darcy. Gordon, welcome to the show. I've seen you, mate, honest to God.
I just saw him cleaning his camera.
This out with
I just saw him cleaning his camera, by the way.
I did, yeah, he was cleaning his camera.
He looks
like he can still play. He looks like he put a top on and still plays the light. He does, yeah. But you know, this guy and Driscoll's together in the centre for Ireland were, Sean, I tell you what, arguably the best centre partnership on the planet.
You would know, I certainly would.
Oh, mate, they were fantastic. Gordon, I've seen you many times, and yes, it's wonderful to talk to you about the British Lions, mate. Tell us a little bit about this huge last test. I mean, we've won the series, but the end of the series made it so controversial, didn't it?
It did. Well, listen, sorry. First of all, thanks a million for that. That's got my Friday off to a brilliant, a brilliant start. Bank holiday weekend here. So,
oh yes, nice.
I'll be walking about 5'11" tall.
Few Guinnesses later. Go on, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's this important little note that 5'11". I'm just about an inch taller than Brian O'Driscoll. That's kind of what set us apart.
Yes.
So it's a massive weekend this weekend, and obviously last weekend, it feels like the series was decided on a ruck, but in reality, I don't really feel that was fair. I think the Lions were we're reeling in Australia from after a very powerful 30 minute starts by the Aussies, and just the quality of the Lions players, the individual quality of the Lions players was very, very telling.
Yeah, I mean, it blew up so big, obviously, because of the Australian media. I mean, what was your personal opinion on it, Gordon? I mean, for me, it wasn't a penalty, but obviously I'm going to say that I'm biased. But what did you think of it?
I'm on the same mind. I think you could draw a line across the northern and southern hemisphere. I believe there is one there. And if you're at the top, you don't feel it was a penalty, and at the bottom, you do feel it was a penalty. It's the greyest of grey areas, I think, and I think if you're Australia and that's your point of argument, you've lost the room, if that's your point, you're saying, oh well, it should have been a penalty. It doesn't look at the overall 80 minutes. They had a fantastic 30 minutes to start the game, but really from 50 minutes on, they were chasing shadows from the Lions. Gibson Park, Finn Russell at points, Hugo Keenan, the Tom Curry, that moment he had just before he went off, Tyg Byrne repeatedly. There was just so much quality through the Lions team.
Yeah, I mean, we'd been the favourites, there's no doubt about that, but Australia did start very strongly. So you kind of expect that when you're from an Australian team down there, so much pride. But will Andy Farrell be saying to his team, look, it's really important now you whitewash this series and you win it 3-0? Is that what he'd be saying to the players?
Yeah, so, if you go back probably 2 months when they all got that letter, that note, probably a text message saying that they were selected,
yeah,
it was all about winning the series. So this is now the second priority, and I think it will be really, really hard for the Lions to hit that same emotional energy that they have done in other matches. because they have achieved what they set out to achieve.
Yes.
Now, the flip side of that coin is you're looking at the Australians, and if you were going, what's their motivation for this week as well? There's a really high chance that we actually get another belter of a match, because both teams are freed up now. It's a free roll of the dice. The game is decided. The series is decided. They can actually go and have a bit of fun and see, does that actually free up players, which for me could make it really interesting. So rather than Andy Farrell sitting in that room and going, lads, it has to be about a whitewash, it's actually more about, lads, the pressure's off. Let's go and play.
Yeah. Yeah, and can you believe, Gordon, the first time in over 100 years there wasn't a Welshman starting, and the one that came off the bench is at the centre of all the controversy.
I think we just need to get more Welsh people. Welsh will be back on its feet, so that we've got plenty of heads there so they don't get lost in the noise like that again.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, Gordon, it's been wonderful to talk to you. I just want to reiterate again what a fantastic player you were. It was brilliant to see you play so many times in Cardiff and Dublin. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Cheers, Gordon. Enjoy a pint of the cure.
Don't forget, you can hear the third and final test between the Lions and the Wallabies tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. on TalkSport. And Sean, I know you're not a massive rugby fan, but you do know Eddie, don't you, Eddie Jones?
Yeah. I did a talk for the England side. It was a bit cringe because I had to make it clear to him. I said, look, I know nothing about rugby, but it was more about the environment that you set and leadership and all that sort of stuff. They were great. They were great to speak to, and they were asking me a lot of questions about football and all that. I've been to Sarries, done a couple of chats with them as well, and Harlequins as well. So I quite enjoy the feeling around the groups. I quite enjoy. I just don't know the game very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know that it's a huge spectacle when the internationals are on, particularly.
We'll go to one, mate. I'll take you to one in Wales.
Okay.
You'd enjoy
that'd
that.
Be good, yeah.
I'm just going to throw up the cricket before I do his wonderful text here. Somebody's Ryan in Derby has said, did Sean give Austin from Norfolk his shirt yesterday? Very good. Here's the cricket.
England 165 for 3, trailing by 59 runs. There's 2 wickets for India post-lunch. They got Crawley for 64. Mistiming of pull shot, the bowling of Krishna. Then Charge bowled a really good ball to Ollie Pope. The ball that came back in sharply, hit him on the pads, giving out LBW. Plenty of chat out there, plenty of needle out there. There was a coming together between Krishna and Root, exchanging words and plenty of stares in a hotly played afternoon session. But Joe Root, England's best batsman, is still there on 20, not looking at his fluent best, but he's still there. Harry Brook not out on 7. Midway through the afternoon session on day 2, Root and Brook at the crease. England 165 for 3, trailing by 59 runs.
There we go. You're listening to Dyche and Owen, or Owen and Dyche, on TalkSport in partnership with Tool Station. Delivery in as little as 30 minutes with Fast Track. Next stop, Tool Station.
Newcastle have rejected an official bid from Liverpool for Alexander Isak. The bid is believed to be over 100 million, but the Magpies don't want to sell and they value the Swede at 150 mil. In other transfer news, Tottenham have agreed a loan deal with Bayern for João Palhinha. Meanwhile, Rangers have signed Mikey Moore on a season-long loan from Spurs. And Sunderland have signed goalkeeper Robin Roos from NEC Nijmegen ahead of their return to the Premier League. Get all the latest at TalkSport.com. Elsewhere, things are going from bad to worse at Sheffield Wednesday. Their behind-closed-doors friendly against Burnley this weekend has been called off after players and coaching staff boycotted the match in protest at the club's owner. Jeff and Chansiri failed to pay their wages on time this week for the 4th month out of 5. James Mappin, the Wednesdays Till I Die podcast host, is devastated with the state of his club.
I'm so angry, Alex, just the whole situation that one man has done all of this. He's just, there's people out there that are, almost reduced to tears just watching the club just slowly die in front of their eyes.
Ahead of the 3rd and final Lions test, there's another injury in the Australia camp. Hooker Dave Parecki's out with a cut heel. Billy Pollard will win just his 2nd test cap at number 2. The Lions are going for a whitewash in the series, and Wallabies legend David Campese says the weather might play in the visitors' favour.
It's been very wet here at the moment. It's rained basically every day in Sydney, so it'll probably obviously help the European side because of you guys are used to it. We're not really used to playing the wet. I just hope it's a good game. I just hope there's not going to be any controversy like last week.
It says former Lion Louis Rees-Zammit has confirmed he's quitting the NFL and is returning to rugby. Former Wales winger Alex Cuthbert says this will be huge for the sport.
He had a good crack at it, but it was a win-win for me. I think his
Yes, it's just after 3 o'clock, 2 minutes past 3 on Friday afternoon. Oh, that Friday feeling. We mentioned the pint, Sean, didn't we?
We did.
My name's Jonny, Owen, obviously, and I'm with Sean Dyche. Funny moment in the pub last night. We had 1 or 2, and Sean was sitting down on a drink, and I felt he was a spit when Jurgen Klopp came in.
Oh, my goodness.
And everybody went, fight.
Yeah. Oh, my God, knock him out, Sean. No, it's a myth. It's a myth.
I know.
Sort of.
He was lovely, the other guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. And he was German.
He was
actually German. Yeah, he was German. Yeah. As in Craig was it? He was absolutely lucky to the optimum. Yeah, optimum.
He was great fun, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, good fella.
We're going to talk a little bit about England managers, really. Young England managers. So there's those people like Frank Lampard, Jr. I think Steven Gerrard's back, isn't he, from the Middle East?
I believe so, yeah. He's had to carry that cash, though. It must have been heavy, that. Oh, he had a couple of quid before he went.
Yes, I know. There's a point. Have you ever been tempted?
No, I don't think when I come out of Burnley, but I just thought, no disrespect, but I thought I had something more to offer in the Premier League. Yeah. And, I think there's a time and a place for that sort of thing. And maybe bring a newness to a sort of maturing or a growing league, I should say. And they allegedly they do pay well, so I'm quite partial to £1.90.
Do you remember when my mate Dennis Lewis was up when he from the Valley's chatting? He was chatting to you and he was like, "Oh, Sean, the thing is, in Saudi Arabia, I worked there." He said 30 years ago, and he went, "Yeah, but I wouldn't be living like you did."
I doubt I'd be living the same as you.
And he went, "That's a fair point."
Yeah, he went, "Yes, a fair point." Yeah. He didn't get the did he? Just laugh. He went, "No, it's a fair point." Yeah. So anyway, back to your point. Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, Steven Gerrard, and that ilk. Carrying the magnificent tag of top players and legendary players, which they are. Yeah. But equally, that can be awkward, can't it? If you're going off the pitch and onto the other side of the white line and being a manager. I'm not going to pontificate. Them guys know their business. They're top players, and creating that feeling from being a top player and getting your message across to a group of players is different. Brilliant. So I think that takes its time.
We'll come back on that, Sean.
Okay,
we'll go across to Goodwood for race 4, the King George Qatar Stakes.
Yep, welcome back. This is the feature race, the 5 furlong race. Worth quite a lot of money, £317,000. Got Asfoora over from Australia amongst the runners. Really interesting race, Lizzie, as they're nearly all in.
Yeah, and a very competitive race. Time for Sandals won the Commonwealth Cup at group level over 6 furlongs at Royal Ascot. She was a big price. She was 25-1 that day, but she's got a really progressive profile. Big Mojo is in here. He was 5 lengths behind Time for Sandals at Royal Ascot, but was closer last time when only beaten a neck in the Group 1 July Cup. So also got some really nice form as well, along with Frost at Dawn.
Yep, some interesting sprinters. Now, Asfoora over from Australia, just missed out last year in this race, beaten by Big Ev's stable companion to Big Mojo. So Asfoora's connections will be hoping lightning doesn't strike twice. The ground disease has got better to good to soft in places. Asfoora, the Australian Raider, is going to be one of the last to come in with Hadem, Jamie Spencer and Charlie Hills, this veteran sprinter who likes to come from off the pace. But they're set then. This will be a dash down the straight here. They're off and running and looking down there, and rather slowly away. Time for Sandals was a little slowly. They are going into 2 groups. Hadem is on this near side, also with Night Raider on the far side. Frost at Dawn is right up there, and JM Jungle. So they're in 2 distinct groups. On the stand side, Night Raider is leading from Hadem. Also on that near side, Kurdos, and the back marker is Town and Country on that quartet. On the other side, we've got Big Mojo right up there, and also Spartan Arrow on the JM Jungle. So they're spread across the width of the track here. Which is the favoured ground? Looking at the moment, coming under pressure, Big Mojo. Spartan Arrow is running a big race. Frost at Dawn on that far side. On this near side, Night Raider is going well. Picking up on the far side, coming through is Asfoora, the Australian sprinter, but she's got a ground to make up. But just out in front, it is JM Jungle, who just may have it coming on this near side. She's quality, and it's going to be JM Jungle who has just held on from She's Quality on the far side, because the stand side didn't really get the run of the race there. The ground didn't to be as good, but JM Jungle and Jason Hart have held off She's Quality, the Irish Raider, winning by half a length. He was standing up in his irons as he crossed the line there. He was quite confident that he got victory there.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fantastic. JM Jungle has been threatening to be a group horse. This is his first time out of handicap company. He'd won over course and distance. There was loads to like about him, but you just felt like he had never performed at this level. And when you pitched him in against horses like Asfoora, Big Mojo and Time for Sandals, you just couldn't see how he could make that jump from handicap company to Group 2 company here today. But he's done it. Jason Hart is so good on a front-running sprinter. He's absolutely fantastic on them. He just seems to have the fractions perfectly, and that was really exciting, but lovely to see a horse progress as well.
Yep, 14-1 the price of that winner, beating She's Quality. Just couldn't get to them, but it was definitely advantage to be on the far side. The stand side quartet really didn't have anything going in their favour. So Asfoora, threatened to a challenge on that far side, but couldn't find a change of gear as JM Jungle powered on home to secure victory in our feature race on this, our 4th and final day here at glorious Goodwood.
Yes, thank you both. Brilliant coverage as always, Rupert and Lizzie. And Lizzie, good luck. I know you're leaving us for a while now, but I want to wish you all the luck in the world, lovely.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers.
She's disappearing. She can't wait to get away from me. It's probably more as a point, rather than actually thinking that she's going to be having her second child.
Oh, bless. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. Well done. Watch every race from the Qatar Goodwood Festival and Galway Festival only on Racing TV. You can start a free 31-day trial now by heading to racingtv.com/free trial. All Racing TV members also get access to over 100 free race days and a free share in their syndicate racehorse, the Lock Stock. I feel like saying Lock Stock and Lock Sock. I think it's in the Lock Stock. Yeah, the Lost Sock. Lost Sock. Yeah, start your free trial now. Also, we've got to nip over to Sam Ellard at the cricket.
Another wicket for India, and it's the big wicket of Joe Root. Joe Root goes for 29. England 175 for 4. Mohammad Siraj is fighting hard. He's maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's a skillful bowler. A scrambled seam delivery, angling into Joe Root, hits him on the front pad, trying to work the ball into the leg side. So Root goes for 29. Jacob Bethel, playing his first Test match in England, arrives at the crease. Harry Brooks looked a little bit scratchy. He's unbeaten on 9. The morning session for India couldn't really have gone much worse. Resuming 204 for 6, bowled out for 224. England going to lunch 109 for 1, but they're fighting back in this afternoon session. England 176 for 4. Brooks got 9. Bethel yet to get off the mark. England trail India second innings by 48 runs.
Thank you, Sam. Dude, listen to that. We're like a proper radio show. Throw into cricket.
Not sure
over
about
to the radio.
Yeah, average at best. Average at best.
That's your saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keeps you grounded.
Average at best.
No, we get a lot of feedback actually from people saying about England managers. Is it more difficult? You know, do you sort of have to sort of prove yourself more sometimes than kind of seeing what sexier foreign managers? Sometimes your players is the same as well. You know, I think you've one of the in the top 10, I'd imagine, English managers to be in the Premier League.
Yes, top 5, I think, for a number of games in the Premier League.
That's incredible. So,
because English, though, don't forget.
Yes.
So there's British as well. And foreign, obviously, there's been a lot of foreign managers over certainly more so over the last 8 to 10 years.
And so you know, you're really good mates, aren't you? With, you know, Eddie really well.
Doing brilliant.
And he's done a great job, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
is it like just? You know, is it a system where that you come through and obviously they've got St George's Park? What's that like?
Eddie was managing really young, don't forget, because he took over at Bournemouth when they were absolutely on the floor. Do you remember? And did a great job to keep them up, and then built there, went to Burnley, didn't quite work for him as well at Burnley, went back to Bournemouth, did a great job again.
Yeah.
I mean, they should build a statue of him at Bournemouth, to be honest. And then done a brilliant job. I mean, he's had good backing at Newcastle, but even with backing, you know, you've got to spend wisely. You need good recruitment and all that. So it's not easy. It's easier, but it's not easy. I think he's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, well, I mean, them winning their first major trophy was fantastic.
Of course. Yeah. And after all them years and the size of the club and the fan power and strength of the belief in the shirt and all that. So
it was nice to see. Again, loads of messages here. I had quite a few people.
Has anyone got my shirt? Has anyone got my bag with my shirt and my t-shirt in yet? It was so good. I'm telling you, I'll give someone a $1 at least. I think that's worth 200. 200 if someone gets my bag with my shirt and my t-shirt.
Sean's Dolce & Gabbana bag.
In an Uber last night. Even if the Uber driver, if he'd done the old hoodwink one and he pops it back, he rings the office, ring in to TalkSport, get my shirt.
Exactly. I was just going to say,
really nice.
This isn't what people would imagine Sean Dyche wearing the Dolce & Gabbana.
Oh, no, but what's he got? He's got the lot. You know what I mean? That's the one, isn't it? Yeah. Never judge a book and all that.
Yes. We've got just one quick question here, Sean. Somebody's asking about your boy, Max. He's a cobbler Kev, calls himself. What's that like for you? He says, are you happy with Max's career to date? And this lad's saying he's a committed player that will hopefully be a success at Sixfields. What's that like for you, Sean? Because obviously you're such a well-known manager to
it's not easy. I mean, I remember when he made his debut, I deliberately didn't. It was just at the end of the pandemic, but I could probably got in. It was at Crewe. He got on at Crewe. And then he come through at the Cobblers and got put in the team early, actually, by Keith Curl back in the day. Got put in the team as a youngster and did okay. He's maturing as a player. Back to your point, I think it's difficult. It's not ideal. I try and stay out the way as much as I can. I don't really go to away games. I want it to be about him, not because his dad's here. So certainly when I got the sack out of Everton, I didn't turn up at the game straight away because it's people want to know about me and they ask you questions. They put cameras go on you and all that sort of business. So I want it to be about him, and I've always insisted upon that. So I tend to go to Northampton because I played there, so people are just used to me being there, and I lived there obviously. So I go to and watch him at home, but away I don't go as much, because focus changes onto me sometimes, and I don't like that. It's about him, not about me.
I just got a quick funny story for the audience. Go on. I remember you went to a game to watch Northampton. You come back and you went, I'm sitting there, Johnny, I'm getting caned the first 5 minutes of the away fans, and I realised, of course, it's Mansfield because he used to play for Chesterfield.
That was actually away. It was in the playoffs. So I went up to Mansfield. Nigel Clough, who's a brilliant fellow and a brilliant manager, by the way, in my opinion. But Nigel Clough sorted me out some tickets. So I got parked, and I thought I'd be be all right. And because the rivalry between Mansfield and Chesterfield, now bearing in mind this like 26 years later, I was getting actually the biggest doing I've had by fans ever. Absolutely ruined. I went to Nigel, went cheers for that, so I got absolutely hammered for 10 minutes walking from the car park space into the ground. Got battered on the Mansfield fans.
Mansfield, bless on the
Couldn't
Stags.
believe it.
But quick voice note, yeah? Can we play one? Brilliant. We're going to play one.
Hi Sean, Max here, Newcastle fan, despite my London accent. I just wanted to know what you'd do if a player returned to train with his old club to force a move away, like Alexander Isak has done. Let me know what you think, mate. Cheers, boys.
We both at a moment because his boy is called Max. Didn't he sound like Max when he said?
No, I thought, hey, was he ringing in? Yeah, but no. Do you know what? We know these things are tricky. It's hard because you don't know the conversations that have been had, right? So internal conversations, for all we know, maybe there might have been a gentleman's agreement, a word of mouth agreement that if something happens, we'll let you go, right? And then something does happen and all of a sudden that changes. So that's one possibility, which means no one's in the right or wrong. And you could argue the player goes, well, hang on a minute, you said, exactly, etc. Sorry. The idea of going away, right? So to give you a scenario, in theory, you fine them, right? So let's say you fine them 2 weeks' wages, and let's say you repeat that for a couple of months because I think that's a maximum fine. So you fine them 2 weeks' wages, but guess what? The club you're going to say, yeah, we'll make that up.
Okay.
So do you get what I mean? So it's not really. If you get what I mean, it is. All these things are counterproductive. You're looking for a bit of. Obviously, you're looking ideally in the ideal world, and this is no question mark over Isak as a person. I don't know him, but ideally, you're looking for a bit of dual respect, aren't you? From the club to the player, and the player to the club, or the manager to the player, and the manager to the club. The agents involved, and all that. You're looking for a bit of general respect from everyone concerned. But when it's you said, he said, she said, then it gets a bit tricky. Because if there was a gentleman's agreement, that if a certain number was hit, we'll speak to you and your agents and, we'll look to do that deal. That's when it gets tricky. Now, I don't know what them conversations are. I don't know what's been said. I don't mean what's been said by who to who. But if the manager, and it's a big if, just to make it clear if anyone starts printing my story, which I haven't said, other than if the manager has had a conversation with the player in the past and said, look, we know you want, the demand of the biggest club you can be at. We're a big club ourselves, rightly so in Newcastle. You want to play Champions League, etc., etc. If the right figure comes in, I'll speak to you about it.
Okay.
Now, if that's happened and they haven't spoken to you about it, or now they're saying, no, you're not for sale under any circumstances, then the player gets the ump, obviously. And now the player's, well, if that's happened, the player's gone, well, hang on a minute, that's not fair.
Yeah.
If that hasn't happened, then really you're looking for a bit of professionalism from all concerned. And if there's a deal to be had, get on and do it, which I'd like to expect and think that Liverpool will be doing if the news is correct and it's a written offer. Then I'd like to think they're going to get on with it, or certainly to a point when they say, right, that's enough and leave it.
Brilliant.
So we'll have to watch this space, I'd say. But it's not ideal. There's no exact answer because I don't know the truth of the circumstances involved in this moment.
Okay, thanks, Sean. You listen to Owen and Dyche on TalkSport in partnership with Toolstation. This summer, shop Toolstation's award-winning Hawksmoor lawnmower range in store, on app, and online. Next stop, Toolstation. Yes, welcome back. Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche, and joined by a very, very dear friend here, Neil Hurd, County, Newport County fan. And he's a creative director, and he's the man behind a brilliant new shirt. It's the away shirt, actually, for Newport County. And it's got a wonderful story behind it, Neil. But just before we come down, we're just chatting, and Sean here, obviously a very proud Kettering boy, he's got a question for you, because obviously you're the man as far as when it comes to kits. And go on, Sean, I'll tee you up.
Do you know, I'm sure you probably will, but do you know the famous story about the Kettering shirt and why?
I know that they were the first sponsored shirt in Britain.
Correct.
And I know it was Kettering tyres. And I know they went something like Kettering tea for some reason.
Well, so I'll tell you the story. It's Derek Dugan. 76. He was the manager commercial rate, and then the sort of
Wolves legend.
One fits all. Yeah. Went out to Kettering Tyres, got I believe a four-figure sponsorship deal. In them days would be a lot of money. You got to remember 76.
Yeah.
So it implies a minimum of £1,000, obviously. And it was Kettering Tyres, and the league went mad at uproar. You can't do that. So he changed it to Kettering Tea because he said, oh no, it meant Kettering Town. But by then, everyone had linked on to the fact it's tyres, obviously. So it's a sort of a semi-legendary story from Kettering Town fans.
It is. Well, as soon as I hear Kettering, I always...
the first ever, though. You think about it. That's quite powerful.
Oh, no, that's right,
The first ever team to have a shirt sponsor was Kettering Town.
They would have, if they'd been in the league, well, actually, maybe they wouldn't be, but yeah, they were the first.
I don't know whose idea it was, but it was definitely Derek Dugan in 76, I think, who did the deal. But yeah, I don't know whose idea it was, but
big
fantastic.
Rivals of Merthyr Town later in the...
Of course, we always try and get them both in, Kettering Town and Merthyr Town.
So my phone, social media will go mad now. Johnny always mentions Merthyr Town and Merthyr Town at every show he ever does.
Yeah.
Well, Newport County were famously with a famous Welsh Cup final against you in 1987.
Yes, don't remind me, mate. Don't remind me of all our lows.
You've come back brilliantly, and you're back in an established Football League team, which is amazing, the journey Newport have gone through. If you explain to me, I mean, you have to start right down in sort of Gloucestershire in the lower region.
We did. I always say, and I know I'm sat in the room with somebody from Kettering, for starters, if you spoke Kettering Town, and you from Merthyr, but Newport's is probably the saddest professional league story you could get. I mean, in 100 years of professional football, we've been promoted twice.
Right, okay.
That's it. Do you know what I mean? And the one which sums up the story, which was amazing, one year we actually got what would be the championship now. Guess what year it was? Think of how sad something could go wrong. I'll tell you, 1939.
Oh, the war.
So the war.
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah. So we finally got to the promised land.
That's something pretty
10 games in. Boom. Stop.
Some fella in Germany plays that. That's all you need,
Do you know what I mean? And I'm telling you, this is... I don't want to be like you my violin, but supporting Newport is... I love them to death, as you know.
Because Dave Hughes is there now, isn't he?
Dave Hughes is there, because he was assistant with you at Watford, wasn't he?
I give him a job at Watford.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. Oh, good.
Fella. No, he's a brilliant fella. I hope he does a brilliant job. He's earned his Spurs through the youth system, went to Man U. Really good operator.
Yeah.
No, he's a really good guy as well. Really good
wicked,
as well.
man.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to chat to you about that, because I did know he'd been with you.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got, obviously, you know me, I've got a soft spot for Newport because my brother lived there, you see, so I used to go, I so posh we are Merthyr, I used to go there on holidays for 2 weeks and stay with him and stay in Pill, the famous area, just down towards the docks, which was a big county supporting area. So I remember I used to talk to all the locals and stuff, and I used to go over to Somerton. They used to play in Somerton Park in them days.
Yeah.
And but they play in Rodney Parade now, and so I try to pop there if I can, at least sort of once every 2 or 3 years, because I just like going down to the city and like seeing the football club. I'm glad you're back in the Football League because it's super important for Wales.
It is, and I think, to be honest with you, not being funny, maybe we're getting sopped in our older age, but I always look out for the Martyrs score now.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely go up next season.
Yeah, should come up.
And I feel like that about all of them, to be honest with you. Well, I don't know. It used to be a lot of sort of like dislike in there before. There intrinsically is, but I sort of feel like a bit of a hippie in my older age now. I'm feeling like I like them.
There's an invitation just coming on my phone from Nathan Evans for Sean you to come to Merthyr Town this year. We should go down together.
We've been on about it for ages.
We will go. And I'll go to Kettering as well. And obviously, Neil, you're very welcome up anytime you fancy.
Yeah, no, I'd love to, honestly.
You're a top man. Let's have a chat about this shirt thing, because it's a great idea. And it's with Athletic Club Bilbao. And I always say this, point this out, because I've been there a few times, because they put my films on, because they're really into football culture over there. And as a club, they fly you out there. They took some of the Forest players out there, and for the Three Kings, they took Gordon Strachan. And they took us out there, and they just put on this film, packed out, and you go and visit the club, and they're into football books. They really believe in the culture of the game, and they called the Athletic not Athletic like Madrid because they were formed by Englishmen, and that's the thing. And Franco, famously, and this is part of this story, who was the dictator of Spain, he'd made them change it to a more Spanish name for a few years because he didn't want the fact it was, but they changed it back to an English name.
I know they're very, very proud of being English formed. You know, they really are. But I mean, I'll tell you a little thing they told me when I was over there, which sums the club up. Every year they do a one club man game. right? And I thought, okay, just somebody who plays for Bilbao or whatever. They said, no. Anybody who plays anywhere just for one club, they bring him over and bring him on the pitch. So Hoddle's, Letizia has been there.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I mean?
What a brilliant gesture that is.
And I think that's sort of like their ethic. Do you know what I mean? They're so bang into football.
Game,
and what it means. What it means and connect. And when we did this, we ended up working with them on this kit. I kind of took a bit of a punt when I sort of had the idea from the beginning. I thought, wow, it'd be amazing to do something in one of the big Basque clubs, and tried them. And the kind of like they just took up on it. They saw the ethos of it. They said in their release, they're like, it's more important than football. It's more about memory. It's all about belonging. It's all about friendship, solidarity. And they came on board a bit as much as we did.
And what's amazing is you've sold more shirts over there than even in Newport, where you've sold a lot. That's so important. That's how much they get behind you. Because obviously they famously got this ethic that you have to have a Basque sort of like a birth, really, or parent, grandparent to play for the team. And so they've got this, imagine the pressure they're shown. They've never been relegated. So imagine playing for that team, and they flirted with it a few times. Imagine being in that team.
I don't know. You remember that club that I managed recently called Everton? That was a lot. You might have forgotten. Preaching not here, that relegation. I know that feels. I know that heat.
Very, very good
That's
point.
a weight to carry, I can assure you.
But so it's we're going to come back. We'll quick update the way the cricket is it? Yeah, cricket. Go on.
Another wicket for India. England 195 for 5. Mohammad Siraj is bowling a beautiful spell. He's got 3 wickets in his last 6 overs. It was Pope, it was Root, now it's Bethel. An in-swinging Yorker hit Bethel on the boot. LBW gone for 6. Harry Brook unbeaten on 22. Jamie Smith, the next batsman to come to the crease at 7. India battling back hard in the afternoon session. Siraj bowling beautifully as 3 wickets in this afternoon session. England 195 for 5, trailing by just 29.
Thank you very much, Sam. So let's come back. Neil, tell us a little bit about the story of what the design is behind the shirt.
Okay, so basically being creative director of the club, and I'm not just saying that to say how great I am, it's like, who can believe a creative director of Newport County exists? But, it was like, how can we add some value to the club? The club is not the richest club in the world. Everybody knows that. The new chairman and the new board are like really good, and they sort of trying to think forward thinking. And it was like, well, what can we do? With my role, it's like, how can we get more exposure? And if we get more exposure, then we get more revenue. If we get more revenue, we can improve the team. Everything goes together. So it was like, okay, let's make a kit, but let's do something where I thought we can reach people who aren't just Newport County fans.
Yeah.
It's probably got 4,000 season ticket holders or whatever, so we're not the biggest club in the world. So how can I tell a story which is important to everybody back there, but also maybe can touch the nerve of somebody a lot bigger than us, which was where this thought came into it. And so just before the Second World War, when Franco started bombing the Basque country, they housed 54 children in Newport because the bombing was so bad, they had to get out of the Basque country, and Wales sort of stepped forward, as well as everybody else. Actually, England did as well. And we took 54 and housed them in the house there. And so I went to Bilbao with the story and said, look, we'd love to sort of pay honour to you. And they just jumped on board with it. So we made a red and white shirt.
Neil, I've loved this, and you've come all the way up from Newport, and you were standing in the doorway listening to us. Can you stay on for the next part? Is that all right?
I'd love to if you let me,
Talk football, and we could talk more about football shirts, because I think it's well worth doing.
Brilliant.
Okay, thank you very much, lads. Stay with us.
Newcastle have rejected an official bid from Liverpool for Alexander Isak. The bid is believed to be over 100 million, but the Magpies don't want to sell and they value the Swede at 150 mil. In other transfer news, Tottenham have agreed a loan deal with Bayern for João Palhinha. Meanwhile, Rangers have signed Mikey Moore on a season-long loan from Spurs. And Sunderland have signed goalkeeper Robin Roos from NEC Nijmegen ahead of their return to the Premier League. Get all the latest at TalkSport.com. Ahead of the third and final Lions test, there's another injury in the Australia camp. Hooker Dave Parecki's out with a cut heel. Billy Pollard will win just his second test cap at number 2. The Lions are going for a whitewash in the series, and Wallabies legend David Campese says the weather might play in the visitors' favour.
It's been very wet here at the moment. It's rained basically every day in Sydney, so it'll probably obviously help the European side because of you guys are used to it. We're not really used to playing the wet.
It says former Lion Louis Rees-Zammit has confirmed he's quitting the NFL and is returning to rugby. Former Wales winger Alex Cuthbert says this will be huge for the sport.
He had a good crack at it, but it was a win-win for me. I think his exposure, his profile is massive. He's going to come back to rugby and people are going to welcome him with open arms.
For all the latest on these stories, head to TalkSport.com.
Jonny Owen and Sean Dyche, joined by Neil Hurd as well, the what do you creative director, is that what we call him?
Yes.
I was just going to do it in the voice of the Lions, the creative director of Newport County. What's the
See,
voice
his name's Austin from earlier. Is he going to be on the same bill?
Yeah.
Director, producer. Producer, sorry, yeah.
70s New York Cops. New York Cops.
Austin Clark.
Yeah, Austin Clark and New York Cops.
Creative director, Neil.
Please don't remind me.
Hey, done a good job, though. Look now,
it's going
all
great.
over the media.
Austin's become a legend. All he's done is send a message in. Austin sent a message in. Send a message in.
God bless you, Austin from Norfolk. What a lad. It's just to give you a bit of background, if you've just joined, a mate of mine, Neil, old pal of mine, big Newport County fan, and he's done the away shirt. He's a creative director at Newport County, and the newish owners have got Hugh Jenkins is there now, isn't he?
That's right, yeah.
The ex-Swansea owner. Yeah. And they're trying to sort of get this idea of sort of spreading the word of Newport County. So, and look at us, we're on TalkSport. I've seen you all over the BBC, all over these different sort of media outlets. So there's a story of this. You've done your job, which is fantastic. But also it's a great story because the kit features a design inspired by the Basque children of 37 who were evacuated to Newport during the Spanish Civil War, weren't they?
That's right, yeah. So it's basically paying a homage to them. Even in the town, it's not amazingly well known, and I've always thought it was a great story. I'm related to some of the survivors who stayed behind. And so it kind of, like I said, it was one of those things where it's a bit of a human touch who appeals to people who don't even maybe support either club.
Yeah.
The extra lovely bonus was when, speaking with Athletic Bilbao, and they were like, yeah, we love it.
Amazing.
And, you can wear our colours, we'll back you as much as we can.
I'm fascinated by Bilbao when I went there because it's hard to explain to people. I thought it was all about Barcelona as being sort of the kind of rebel club, and then Madrid, obviously the royal club, the club of the king and Franco, all that kind of stuff. But actually, Bilbao are a massive, massive support right across Spain. They're kind of seen as the working class club, aren't they? In a sense of it, people really associate with them, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I mean, I think I've never come across a team so solid to what they believe in. They really, really think it's more important than just football.
The club sort of thing.
Yeah, really do. They moved their stadium, and in the new one where we were in the ground, it's like this big, massive dinosaur print or something. We were like, "What's that?" They said, "Well, when we dug up the old ground, that was buried underneath it, and we want to bring the heart of the city with this new one. It sounds small, but like everything they think about is kind of like
it's considered.
Yeah,
I would say not in the same depth as you're talking about Bilbao, but I think there's a little bit of that Burnley. I must say that.
Oh yes, definitely.
Burnley, there's a root in the community. It's like you're born Burnley, as they say. You know what I mean? You're born a Burnley fan. That's it, and it does stay within you. And they do protect their old players and everything. Do you know what I mean? There is a bit of that. Not as deep as you're saying, but there is quite a lot of respect there for ex-players, ex-managers, ex-people who were involved in the club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
a stat to Burnley. It's the most supported.
Yeah, the most percentage of the local people who watch a game.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like say the population. Oh, I wouldn't say it's a nice one. I like this one. I did Keys and Gray, and when we first got in the Premier League, they said, "Sean, what's it like to go to Old Trafford where the whole of Burnley's population can fit in the stadium?" I thought of it like that. That's a very good point, isn't it? So, percentage of the population of Burnley who watch the games.
I think it's brilliant. Honestly, I think like Pompey, the same sort of thing.
Yeah,
Too many towns. I'd use South Wales as an example. Where too many, I call them plastics. Walking around with their other teams' shirts, and I just think, look, get behind your local team. Support another team by all means.
Yeah, my dad used to take me to Kettering Town, and
you should do. Everybody has their second team or wherever in the Premiership, wherever, but you should support your hometown team, and we'd all have bigger teams.
Couldn't agree more. Did you know that I went to watch Castleford Tigers, as they call now, the rugby league team? They're very similar to that. They have amazing support. They've like suddenly 10,000, and the population of the town's about 15,000. Cass. Everybody in Cass goes to support. Cass is wonderful to watch. And England were playing football that day. We were invited by the owners, and they weren't even watching the England. They were playing in a major tournament. They were just with their rugby league tops on, having a beer. But it's that culture of like really. I mean, they have it a little bit done in the States with sort of like college football, they call it. With those local towns in like Texas. The whole town goes out and supports all the bleachers and the light. That's brilliant when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Premier League is outstanding and the prowess of it, but there is still. There's something nitty and gritty and like a subculture of fans who love their local teams. I still think it's there. I think if anything, I think it's grown a bit. I think
I agree.
League, which is an amazing spectacle of what it is, the glamour and all of that, but the authenticity of it can sometimes be in question. The style of play in the Premier League and that compared to the lower leagues. And I think there's like an earthiness to some of the lower league clubs and the way their fans care about them.
Yeah.
The way they respect them.
Non-league especially, like you go up there, you could have a pint watching the game, that kind of thing. It does feel different. You think, this is not. I hate that in proper football, because all football's proper, of course there is. But there's something about going to the town you were born in, you go to watch them and you stand with your mates you've known all your life, and you do. I mean, Sean's brilliant there. Sean goes back and does Q&As at Kettering and all that. He said he grew up watching them and all the rest, but you were the same in Newport. And have the other big team, there's nothing wrong with that, because when you're a kid, of course you're attracted to things that the wins. It's the human nature. But as you get a little bit older, certainly into your teens and 20s, go with your mates to your local team if you can.
Yeah, if you can.
I think you really should
support both. Maybe you might go to your Premier League club who you love, but then you might go down to your local club, and it just gives that added support.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I couldn't agree more.
And it's getting big. I do think there's more influence on the EFL again now. People have come into it.
Brilliant. So, Neil, just before we say goodbye, and thanks for staying with us, mate. Much appreciated. What's your hopes, just quickly, for Newport this year?
Well, I mean, I'd be so excited if we even made the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know enough about the manager. The team are just.
No, it's a reasonable view. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I just don't know.
Into different circumstances.
Hugh's got a great record. What he did with the Swans. So that's great. It looks like we've improved, and we finally got a striker who's going to score some goals. I think
that's everything.
That's appeal. Then fingers, at the end of the day,
fingers crossed. Yeah, we just got another voice note for Sean.
Hi, Sean. Adam, the Fulham fan here. Just wondering, if you're having a dinner party, what would be your go-to dish to impress your guests? Nice one.
To be honest, I can cook, believe it or not. I enjoy it mostly because I was playing pasta dishes, so I can rustle out pasta dishes out of almost any ingredients. I can rustle something that's going to be pretty tasty. Yeah. Not quite out of chips, but no, you know what I mean. I can always find, like the other day for my lad, I cooked him a pre-match, and we had like a night before, and it was like pancetta with Brussels, with garlic, red onion, bit of cream, softened off, with a bit of what do you call it? Chicken stock. The homemade chicken stock, by the way. And then grated parmesan on top. Just to sort of thicken it up a bit. So I like things like that. So I do like cooking. So I'd probably throw my hand at some of that. But usually Italian food. Usually.
Neil is looking at me. This meme at a woke nonsense. Nothing could be further from the truth.
I know. I always say it got tagged on me. Although there is some. We'll get into that one day. Some stuff that does drive me mad. I'm still a man of age.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got a boxing thing, yeah? Is that right? Here we go. This weekend, a WBA world title shot is within reach for Oscar Durat. Durat, is that right?
Durante, maybe.
Say it again. Durate, yeah.
Durate.
And Kenneth Sims Jr. Oh, strong name. Who will seize the victory in Chicago, Illinois? Watch this Sunday live only on DAZN, DAZN. Sign up at DAZN.com/boxing.
Boxing update on TalkSport with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Bit of Bruce Springsteen there, the boss. The song is, of course, Roll the Dice, and there's a reason why we're playing that. I'm Jonny Owen. I'm with Sean Dyche. This is, of course, TalkSport. Just coming up to the last quarter. It's gone quick, that, Sean, isn't it?
It has been really enjoyable again, Johnny.
Fabulous.
Really good. Some nice messages in as well.
Lovely, lovely messages. Just going to read one more. A message to Sean and Jonny. Baggies fan here, Ian. Okay. Just want to say what a great show and how much it was like an afternoon in the pub with your mates, just having fun. Long may you continue making me smile.
That is exactly the feel that we spoke about trying to get across, wasn't it? Just having a bit of fun with a very serious matter in some ways and some serious input, hopefully, but also a bit of fun with it
exactly.
as well.
So thank you. Thank you, Ian. Boing, boing, he said.
Boing, baggies. Yeah, of course, I remember it.
So we're now going to play this thing. It's now time for a Sean Dyche feature, which is Sean Dyche.
That's my favourite. You know, I love this one. Couldn't get any more corny if you try.
Can you imagine Sean's face when
Sean Dyche rolls the dice?
When they tell him
Dyche's dice. I mean, come on. Seriously, can you imagine?
This is not Neil Hurd's sort of area of creative genius. This is very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we've been rolling the virtual TalkSport dice and landing on different hot topics for us to discuss. They are numbered 1 to 6, as you would on the dice. So let's roll the Sean dice and find out what we land on. It's a virtual
Number
dice.
2, pre-season.
Number 2, pre-season. So let's talk about pre-season. What was pre-season like for you?
Pre-season, infamously do a manager's day. So beginning of the pre-season, I'll be building into it. A lot of body balancing stuff with the strength and conditioning team, a lot of medical stuff in the early part, first few days. Build into that, slowly build into it through ball work and through some fitness work with the with the sports scientists, mixing and crossing over with me and the staff on the football side of things. And then usually around day 10, I have a thing called the Gaffer's Day.
Okay.
It's been adopted by a lot of managers now. It has spread over the years, so a lot of managers do it now. One of my old players, Stephen Ward, who's Solly Elmores, I think it is. Yeah. He sent me a video the other day of them doing a Gaffer's Day. So basically that involves nothing other than really hard running for 2 hours. Some of it is scientific. Some of it have got scientific runs within the 2 hours, and some of it is just stuff that I made up that I know would be really, really hurtful and nasty and horrible.
Yeah.
And the simple reason was it locks in a mentality.
Yeah.
And I guarantee every group I've done it with hate it, but afterwards they're buzzing that they've done it. They've done it as a group. They've done it as a collective. They all talk about it now. Saw Trips in the summer, and he was talking about it. You know, all my old players talk about the Manager's Day. And when you've completed it, you feel good about yourself, and it builds a mentality, a team mentality. That's the thought behind it. And then building in football work, loads and loads of football work against popular belief or probably people think about me. Endless amounts of football work, tactical work as you get close to the season. A couple of weeks to go now, so now the manager will be tactically working more and more with the players getting closer to the season. I would imagine, or certainly that's what me and my staff would do.
Brilliant. We're just going to throw to the cricket, but quickly, it's interesting. I've just read Sugar Ray Robson's autobiography, Sugar Ray Leonard's autobiography, and he talks about the same. Every single boxer says it's all about you running your road work. Everything you do fitness-wise is based out of that.
I'll tell you what, fully fit, semi-skilled over a season will always come out on top of semi-fit, fully skilled.
There you go. Let's go to the cricket.
215 for 6, another wicket for India. Jamie Smith goes for 8, a short and wide ball from Prasid Krishna. Smith looks to smash the ball through the offside. A rash shot, wasn't in control of it, took the outside edge. When Dyche Royal quickly at second slip, he takes a good catch. Jamie Smith goes for 8. We are 5 minutes away from tea on day 2. England 215 for 6, trailing India by 9 runs.
Thank you, Sam. There, Sam Ellard telling us about the cricket and keeping us brilliantly informed all afternoon. We're going to roll the dice again.
Number 3, VAR.
Oh, VAR.
Yeah, we've touched on this before. I mean, look, I'm a fan of it from a professional point of view. I'm not a fan of it from a fan point of view, because obviously you want the game to be speed up. It frustrates me now they're getting the referees talking. All that, I don't see the point in that. Just slows the game down more. It frustrates me when they go over to that screen, because we know that the 99.9% chance that they're going to agree with whatever's been said in their ear. So why send them over to that screen? That's the whole point of VAR, is to make a decision, not to have another decision made.
Yeah.
But generally, as a professional, this is a manager. You know, your life in management depends on results, of course. So you want the right decisions. So therefore, it is proven, particularly the offsides. Another thing that frustrates me, but the fans say, yeah, but it was only a toe offside. And you go, yeah, but that's offside.
Yeah.
It's only a millimetre. Yeah, but it's still offside. I can never work that out. Offside's offside.
Yeah.
But I do understand the frustration from fans. But generally, as a professional speaking, I like it because you're going to get a higher chance that the decisions are correct.
One one massive positive of VAR people forget. I always say it killed goal celebration music, which was an abomination on football. You know,
what was that all about?
What was that all
I
about?
know.
Sort of
Dances. I'm not keen, Johnny. I'm not keen.
How can you make a goal celebration better? It's just the purest. Yes, the purest moment.
I always say, I think I said on air many months ago when we started this, Tardelli.
Yeah.
If you ever want to see a goal celebration, just watch that. Still, even when I watch it, I still sometimes randomly, go on my phone and watch it, and I can feel the hair stand up. What little hair I've got, stand up on the back of my neck, and I'm going like, just watch that.
Yeah.
If you're a kid out there listening, go and watch that before you worry about some dance. You know what I mean? Just go and watch that.
That's the 1982 World Cup final, and Tardelli, an Italian, scores.
I can feel it in my body now as you're telling it.
And he reacts as every person should react to scoring the winning goal in the World Cup for your country.
Yeah, unbelievable natural reaction.
There we go. We're going to roll the dice. I'm going to put my mate Ozzy's glasses on for this because he got us this last night.
You can't see that. We were on that last night, weren't we? I was loving that. He said, Dyche, wear these.
Put these on and there's no lenses in there. What did you say? That's not my first rodeo, Ozzy. You didn't put them on, did you? Let's roll the dice.
Number 1, Thomas Tuchel as England boss.
Yeah, I mean, look, I said when we started this as well many months ago was that ideally I would have liked an English manager, but that's nothing against him or any kind of foreign manager. It's just about the fact that ideally someone through our system I would have liked to have been a manager or has been in our system. Not necessarily through the FA system, but someone has done well. I was frustrated, I put it on air, that Eddie Howe wasn't at least in the system to look at that. But if not for now, for future-proofing. But at the end of the day, we want a manager who can take the team to glory. We want a manager who can win. So that's what we're looking for next. The style of it, I'd like it to be improve with the pace of it and the aggression, not the aggression tackling, but I mean the aggressive form of tackling to play more progressive football, in my opinion, so far. But it is only so far. As an international manager, it takes a bit of time to get the players on your wavelength. So I think it's watch this space, I think, with Thomas Tuchel and see how it can work.
We're allowed to have that opinion, if you're allowed to say...
I know, but you're sort of not nowadays, aren't you? When you got out to woke nonsense and said anything, you go, you're not allowed to say it. Why? Why are you not allowed to say that?
Opinion.
But that's genuinely how I feel.
Yes, I'm really pleased as a Welshman as a manager of Wales. I just am.
Just be because I just a feeling that we want that with so much foreign influence into football, we want our own
identity
as well.
Our
own identity to come through as well. I think that's a valid point.
I do as well. Okay, have we got any more dices to roll? Are we?
Number 5, your favourite ever gig.
Oh, it's a good question.
Do you know what? It's so difficult because I admire so many bands, but I got to say, I managed to get into Glastonbury because I know Sergio Pizzorno. He got a side stage, and I mentioned earlier in the Woodsy stage, and I've never seen them play like that before. They just started and played every banger that they could get in their time slot of about an hour and 5 minutes. And even Sergio's wonderful Mrs. Amy, I looked at her and she looked at me. I won't use the words that she said, but she pretty much said, "I've never seen them this good." It was electric. The whole feel in the place was going off. And I think to be there on that occasion was so fortunate, and we side staged my mates, and they still speak about now it was just awesome. But I remember U2, the first time I saw them was amazing. I remember the first gig I ever saw, Spirit of Destiny at Rock City. It was his first gig. So I just thought, bouncing around to the Liberator, thinking, wow, this has opened my mind to what this should be music.
But it's funny, because obviously Noel says this a lot, Noel Gallagher. U2 get a bit of a kick in because they were so successful, and that's what happens in life. But those two, as Achtung Baby and Zoo TV, they were amazing, weren't they, at the time?
And breakthrough sort of stuff, you know what I mean? And of course, I was at Nebworth, and when I saw them, I couldn't believe how good they were. I couldn't believe how good they were. I thought they were incredible the other night, So I've been very fortunate. I get some incredible invites to watch some amazing people play. Fontaines, I really like them. I think I'm having them. I've seen them a couple of times. Fontaines are superb.
Do you think there's going to be a sort of a rejuvenation of bands?
Vaccines, I love the vaccines. Just young, what a guy is. I've been fortunate to meet some of these people as well.
There's a lot of talk in there about the fact that Waitress getting back together. Does it mean a lot of young people are going to get bands?
Well, and then so many things, isn't it? young people with guitar bands. The birth of that again, or the rebirth, and are they going to make new music? Who knows? But fantastic, I think.
Well, listen, it's been a wonderful afternoon. I've
thoroughly enjoyed it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it again, mate. Really good. Thanks for all the listeners and people who sent some nice comments.
All the messages you sent in, everybody.
Wouldn't they read all the bad ones out? Read all the bad ones out. I can reply to them. That'd be good fun.
It's a great show, lad. Johnny, we need you back on TalkSport on the reg.
Nice. So you get a mention too. It's not just about me.
And Sean as well.
Thank you. Let's make it back about me.
Tony, hi lads, great show. Really enjoyed. Listen, been fantastic. Loads of stuff coming up on TalkSport. Obviously, from 4 till 7, you've got TalkSport Drive with Andy Goldstein and Andy Townsend. Andy Townsend's a top fella as well.
Yeah, he is.
He's a good,
top player as well. But
he was a good player.
Cool.
He's got a great story about Brian Clough. He's playing for Chelsea and he's running with the ball, and you can hear Clough's voice going, "Pass it, son, pass it. You need to pass it." And he looked over after the ball had gone, and one of the Forest players said, "He can't help himself. He manages everybody on the pitch."
That's Clough.
He was so in the game that he just couldn't help telling another player, "What you need to do there, son, is this."
"Oh, you idiot.
Yes.
Didn't pass it. I told you should have, young man."
It's been brilliant. So we've got one again. Thanks for all the messages. You may see us again, or hear us again on TalkSport. We'll see, Sean. We thoroughly enjoyed it.
Look forward to it. Hopefully, anyway.
And we're off for what you call it, a sup now, aren't we?
A little sup.
I'm going to.
That's what Big John calls it. Are we going for a sup, Doc, or what?
I'm going to play bass now
sup
for the one show.
Yeah, go well with that.
And then I'm going for a sup after. Thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks,
Johnny Owen and Sean Dyche.
Cheers, Johnny.